Ta-da! Rejoice. Where are we? Yep, kept still alive. Oh! Oh, right, no. Right, so he's not live anymore. Okay. There we go. Not live. Let's refresh that, show that he be not live. Hi, Bryce. Oh, no. Right. Right. View my channel. Yes, I am live. There we go. And my Twitch one. Oh, Stream Manager. Oh, I've lost someone else. There, it's fine. Chat. We've both went live at the same time. Holy fuck. The mod has went live as well. Yeah, I know I'm live. Okay. Da 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 da. Make sure I'm lubricated enough. Oh, look, you've got the train. You're the current hype train conductor, Bryce. Right. Back to Labour being fucking bastards. Let's give people... Holy fuck, I've got 4 people already. Hello, everyone. Rejoice, your mad Scottish Mark says be live. It's got real tickets, please. And none of them are peak price. I really do hope that SNP get the majority of the constituencies. Never. For anyone Scottish, if you hear this, SNP for your constituent, if you're pro-independence, and like sort of centre-left, Dem Soc? Soc Dem? Dem Soc. You will find out momentarily, Michael. They're being horrible, they're being evil to people like me again. They're consistent, if nothing else. At least in this regard. Ta-da! Okay. Okay, this is from The Guardian. A cruel penalty. Disabled people face lower benefit payments if conditions not deemed lifelong. Trust me, the majority of them are. Labour, can you hear me? Pat McFadden, can you hear me? Oh, Christ's sake. Fine, sign in with Google. Yes, that one. Continue. Fine. Carry on. Oh, Christ thing. Yeah, headlines. And yeah. Christ. Fine, are you happy now, Guardian? The minute I get my benefit, I'll start paying monthly so I can get all my... Right, what's that? Give me 2 fucking hours. I am not paying £12 a month. £4 a month. And remember, you're still a transphobic piece of shit rag. Rejoice, comrades. Jim speak do be lurking in the void. Watch out for the tardigrades, Jim. Right, are we done? Christ. Guardian fucking annoying me. Turn off JavaScript. And I can get it for free. Thank you, Bryce. I did not know that. Right. Here we go. Hundreds of thousands of severely ill and disabled people making new claims will have their benefits cut if the government assesses that their condition might improve, charities have said. Mine's will not improve. Mine's is degenerative. There ain't no getting better for me. And the sooner the Department for Work and Pensions realises this, the better. With people like me literally yelling at them, online of course, not literally to their faces. I'm not going down to Caxton House, fuck that. In April, the health element of universal credit, fuck, an extra payment for people assessed as too unwell to work or prepare for work, will be halved to £50 a week and frozen for new claimants unless their condition is found to be terminal, severe and lifelong with no prospect of improvement. Fuck. Well said, Jacqueline. Well said. Rejoice, comrades. Jacqueline is in the chat. That's the problem. That's the like there's a sword of Damocles hanging over us. Myself and my super hubby are a joint claim for universal credit. And there's elements of that he gets to look after this human being. So this might affect me. My benefit won't be. Mine is paid by the Scottish Government. But because of the certain parts of the universal credit that we get each month, well, every fortnight, kind of it varies because sometimes it's 17 days, sometimes it's 12 days, depending on what day it falls on. Make it make sense. That's the changes that fucking Gideon and IDS done back during the coalition. Don't worry, I'll keep everyone posted if anything happens to the money that we get each month. Ministers had pledged last summer that the severe and lifelong clause, known as the severe conditions criteria, would shield the most severely disabled and ill people from the new lower benefit rate. I will believe it when I see it. Plus, I'm keeping an eye on the Tim's review, everyone. Do not worry. I no longer get PIP. As I said, my benefit comes from Scotland now, just mine's. But charities and disabled people's organisations have told The Guardian that a wide range of debilitating conditions may not meet the strict eligibility criteria. Bastards. Despite them often leaving someone unable to work, This includes multiple sclerosis, learning disabilities, bipolar, Parkinson's. You what? ME and long COVID. They do realise what MS is like, don't they? That is degenerative. There is no getting better. That's only just management. And so's Parkinson's. Parkinson's literally is degenerative. That's what's happening with these people. Ask any fucking neurologist. Or ask any fucking GP. Samuel Thomas, a senior policy advisor at the anti-poverty charity Z2K, said cuts to universal credit's health element threaten to push some of the most seriously ill and disabled people in the country to the brink. The higher rate of support will only be available to new claimants whose condition is lifelong and shows no prospect of improvement. That's MS and Parkinson's, you fuckers. I'm shaking in rage here, fuckers. That rigid test could exclude people who have had strokes or heart attacks. Or people with conditions like cancer and schizophrenia. Seriously ill and disabled people facing years of significant difficulty are at risk of being left on a lower rate simply because recovery, however partial or distant, cannot be ruled out. They are debilitating and they're lifelong, and for some of them, especially Parkinson's and MS, it is management of them. There is no getting better. You can raise you can stop the rate of decline for some of them. With Parkinson's, no. But with MS, you can manage it better. There is no getting better from this. This is just fucking monstrous. Ella Smith, the welfare rights policy lead for ME Association, said the government says it's protecting people with the most severe conditions. No, they're not. But in reality, this actively excludes swaths of severely ill and disabled people. Correct. The fact someone might improve at some point in the future should not be used to reduce essential support today. Correct. Reassessment already exists if someone's condition genuinely improves. So sometimes happens. Awarding people a lower rate just because they may hypothetically recover later turns the constant struggle with unpredictable conditions into an additional cruel penalty. Government data estimates that by 2029-2030, 730,000 future recipients of universal credit will miss out on the higher rate, with an average loss of $3,000 per year. While a Labour backbench rebellion last summer paused the proposed personal independence payments reforms, I emailed my MP about that. Even though I was on ADP, I've been on ADP for 2 years now? Coming up on 2 years? MPs voted to go ahead with the changes to universal credit. Under the changes, existing claimants will continue to receive £97 a week, whether their disability is judged to be lifelong or not. James Taylor, the Director of Strategy at Scope, said, essentially, we'll have a two-tier universal credit system. two people with similar condition and similar extra costs will get different amounts. Boo. Creating the severe conditions criteria is designed to protect some new claimants, but it could add another level of jeopardy for disabled people. There is a risk that certain conditions might not be judged as severe, and assessors inconsistently interpret and apply new criteria for a new category. Plus, this will be extra cost for them at Caxton House. Means testing, you can't means test disability. To try and means test me, yeah, just good luck with that fucking bollocks. Just make it universal, especially where this is concerned, and if they even attempt to do a means testing for disability benefits, unless we're getting assessed by actual specialists that the Department of Work and Pensions will need to pay for, they are going to deny people, a lot of people, a lot of money. There is further concern among charities that to qualify for the higher severe payment, new claimants must provide extensive medical evidence from the NHS. Department for Work and Pensions, yous have to pay for that. How many times did my GP have to tell you this? They kept on writing, when I was on PIP, they kept on writing to my GP. She was getting fucking pissed off with them. And she was part of a spearhead from other GPs based here in Glasgow, saying, wanting people like myself who had disabilities of many different types. Stop doing this. If you want these scans, x-rays, MRIs, DEXA scans, things like that, yous pay for it. We're not paying for it anymore coming out of the practice budgets. When it's yous that are demanding this, I know my patients. I know my patient. I know exactly what problems they have, and we are managing it. We are treating it. If you want these scans, you pay for them. This can be harder for certain conditions. Autoimmune, rather difficult to diagnose. It took them the best part of 30 years to diagnose me with my EDS, for fuck's sake. Particularly at a time when waiting lists are still long. They're not that long up here, just saying. Hannah Nichols Harrison, a policy manager at MenCap, said the rule could mean a significant number of new universal credit claimants with learning disability would lose out on support. Bleh. Many people struggle to achieve a formal diagnosis, correct, of learning disability due to the lack of a clear pathway in the NHS. She said, for people with learning disability who do not have that level of documentation, or who do not have support to navigate the complex system and advocate for themselves. This will mean missing out on thousands of pounds a year. Oh, hydrate. Sorry, Shanna, I missed you there, my dear. Thank you for the hydrate. Oh, I like that message you done for the lurk, Shanna. Shanna Cranky Pants is lurking in the void. Watch out for the tardigrades, my dear. Yeah, sit up. Ugh. Several charities and DPOs said that they were concerned the lower benefit rate would push already struggling disabled people into deeper poverty and in some cases destitution. That means you literally can't provide for yourself for the main essentials for living: shelter, food, fuel, and your utilities like gas and electric, or the electric depending on what kind of house or flat you live in, they would literally struggle to get things they actually need to live, to literally survive. And this is happening in the 6th richest country in the fucking world. All because they don't want to tax rich bastards. Thomas said the human cost is stark. Correct. Families losing out on this vital income could face eviction, go without food and heating, and lose access to the care they depend on. Tom Pollard, the head of policy at Mind, said, protecting a higher rate of payment for people meeting the severe conditions criteria is recognition that the reduced rate is not sufficient for people who are out of work for longer periods of time. Correct. Many people with severe and long-term mental health diagnoses such as bipolar or schizophrenia may not meet these criteria despite impairments and barriers that will often keep them out of work for long stretches of their lives. Oh, here we go. A Department for Work and Pension spokesperson said the government was committed to supporting vulnerable people. Don't believe you. They added, under the severe conditions criteria, claimants are assessed not on their condition itself, but on how it affects them. You have to do both, you fucking idiots. With the criteria intended to protect those who are not expected ever to be able to work due to severe lifelong health condition or disability that is unlikely to improve. Those with the most severe lifelong conditions, those nearing end of life, and all existing universal credit health claimants will continue to receive the higher rate. Healing Coo! Hello, Healing Coo. Please be the Ginger Moo. Look, we're out here literally advocating for ourselves because we have every right to fucking live and need the support. But does this government care about us? Apparently not. Fun. Look, there it's there. There we go. Your lass is keeping an eye on this. It will not report back until November, probably the day before the budget. Stephen Timms, you better do what is right, or you'll be getting lots of fucking angry emails from people like me. Forewarned. Okay, my dude? Thank you. Fun time now. The campaigning for Holyrood has started. It has kicked off, and they've all been out. Okay. Oh God, right, you're in now. Right, do you remember? Oh God, where is it? I can't remember. Do you remember when that absolute shit show in the House of Commons concerning the PIP legislation they were trying to get through last summer? this was part of it as well. The article that I just read, the changes to universal credit, that is still going ahead. The PIP ones have been stopped. That's what the TIMS review is for. And like I said, we won't find out until November. But that is liable to change. Because if Labour get an absolute fucking kicking, and Starmer has to say goodbye, that might be brought forward. Because you have to remember, the people in this cabinet, some of them literally want to do this. So that TIMS review connected to like PIP and other disability benefits, that might get brought forward if Starmer has to leave, if he steps down and we get some other bastard. People to watch out for. Glaswegian Ghoul, also known as Pat McFadden. Odious little prick. And I think the one we have to keep a close eye on, Steve Reid. Don't get me wrong, Rain will be in the mix as well, I assume. Now, if it looks like Shabana Mahmood's going to stand, if she wants to become Prime Minister, holy fuck. There's another reason for me to go to B&Q and get a fucking shovel. Because I do not want that as Prime Minister either, just as much as I don't want Manfrog to be Prime Minister. How do I put this in? PIP legislation. House of Commons? Oh, Scribby! What the fucking... I'm not even on 480 a week. That is absolutely mental. It definitely looks like that, Jacqueline, doesn't it? Yeah. When was this? 8 months ago. Right, I'll just watch this short.
So it is with a heavy, broken heart that I will be voting against this bill today. The social security system was broken by the Conservative legacy of austerity and their monumental mishandling of the COVID pandemic. I am now one of the only visible, physically disabled members of Parliament. I am proud that our manifesto committed to championing the rights of disabled people and the principle of working with disabled people to ensure our views and voices are at the heart of all we do. My communities nurtured me growing up, and they taught me the values of fairness, equality, community. So it is with a heavy, broken heart that I will be voting against this bill today. As a matter of conscience, I need my constituents to know I cannot support the proposed changes to PIP as currently drafted on the face of the bill before us today. Since April, I've been engaging relentlessly with the government at the very highest level to change their proposals as set out in this bill, making it clear I could not support the proposals on PIP. PIP is an in-work benefit designed to ensure disabled people can live independently. Low-level support like PIP helps to build the bridge to the deinstitutionalisation of disabled people, keeping us out of the dark corners of hospitals, prisons and social care settings. The concessions the government have now announced are significant, including that all recipients of PIP who currently receive it will continue to do so. While this will come as a relief to my 6,000 constituents who receive PIP, there are still 4 million disabled people in poverty in the UK. Proposed changes at committee stage are still currently projected to put 150,000 people into poverty. I cannot accept this, nor a proposed point system under current descriptors which would exclude eligibility for those who cannot put on their underwear, prosthetic limbs or shoes without support. So it is with a heavy, broken heart that I will be...
Oh, no, it's, Yeah, he's a playwright. Yeah. Well done, Marie Tidwell. So now oh, no. Nope, no justice. MTG. Okay. Videos. Oh dear God. Where is Morgan's phone? I say this is a joke, so please laugh. Methinks someone might have taken sledgehammer to phone. Or chucked it in the Thames. Right, we're going back 8 months. Go back. What the hell? Oh, there we go. Do 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 do. Fucking. Thank you. Back. 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 I got asked to apply to be a service user from the West Sussex Industry. I think the local mental health unit will block me as I have evidence. Not only about the above, but cases where serious protocols have been broken. Ooh! You going to apply, Scribby? If you do, keep me updated, especially if they block you. Ah! Back. I might just actually bring up that one from Kev. That one's easy to find. It's a reply to Super Tan. Kev, go to Kev. That one is actually quite good. Videos. Where is it? I know what one I'm looking for. Where is it? Where is it? Oh. Oh. Ta-da! Find it. This one is rather good. Oh.
I was going to say this isn't dystopia warning, but today has proven that there's very much still a need for dystopia warnings, hasn't it?
Yes, it really has. The dystopia warning that you had to do when the Tories were in power is still necessary because the Tories are still in power. Why do you still support them?
I mean, right, okay. I want to precede us watching this by at least saying, it's one thing to have ignored criticism of Labour in the run-up to the election, supported them, voted for them, and then when they get into government, get angry with the bad things that they do and talk about how angry you are, right? That's one thing, and we can say that we told these people so, and we can say you should have listened to us, and all of those things will be true, but at least they have the integrity to call shit. They have the integrity to look at a spade and call it a spade, right?
Oh,
okay.
I thought I'd like that.
Alright, but the problem with that is she's admitting, oh, this is shit, I'm calling shit, but I'm still going to swim in the shit. She's still a member of the party, she's still supporting them. I'm sorry that you have...
What? Did she? Super Tan, you're fucking stupid. How the fuck in any way, shape or form is this Labour government progressive? She laughs in Scottish Green. Hopefully she's changed her tune. Please, Super Tan. You do actually have some glorious snark about you. I'll get blocked if I apply. I came very close to getting the unit closed last year as they were wrongly accusing patients of not turning up for appointments. What the fucking... Oh, fucking... Dear God. Scribby, that sucks. Oh, no. A Keith campaign for the Labour Party for the next... Wouldn't surprise me, Jacqueline, yeah. It's the only thing that they can say. They're essentially centre-right now. And in some cases, some of them are even right-wing. They should be in the fucking Tory party. Liz Kendall, can you fucking hear me? Shabana Mahmood, can you hear me? Mind you, it looks like those two are going to lose their fucking seats. Their majorities are dog shit. Yeah. Carry on, Kev, Helena, and Phil.
To take this on, then. This is your fucking policy too.
I mean, that is also true. But regardless of whether or not that they stay in the party whilst being at least critical of the things that are bad, at the very least, this is much better. This is superior in terms of the Labour shills who've just completely fucking ignored it, which a lot of them have done. They've just completely ignored it and been tweeting about Tesla and Elon Musk because now that the Red Party are in charge, they've forgotten about the UK because it's about virtue signalling about how right on they are rather than the utility of the policy that happens in the governments that they elect. Or even worse are the people who have bought into Labour's framing on this because whatever the Red team says goes, and no matter how right-wing they are, they'll just parrot the party line because they...
Rejoice, comrades, Davinia Robbins. I didn't know that. You posted something in the Discord that was applicable for me. I didn't know that. So, right. Because both Kevin and Helena said if I go into my studio, so my YouTube studio, I'd find a button. That button ain't there. I don't know how many people I've got. I've got less than 100, I think. Maybe slightly over 100 people subbed to my YouTube. So nowhere near it. It's going to take me a while to get up to that number. Yeah. Thank you, by the way, for your help in that regard, Davinia. Much appreciation.
Will happily let their views be changed by the zeitgeist because they have no moral or ethical underpinning of the positions that they hold. So it may be bad to still be a Labour member whilst being critical of them, but it's even worse to ignore it or be completely uncritical supporter.
See, you're way nicer than me. You're a nicer human being, and I say that entirely as a criticism.
I am nice, but if they keep on coming at me like the Tory bastards, well, technically they are Tory now anyway. Fuck it. like the coalition and the Tory government from 2015 onwards, if Labour start doing that and targeting people like me again, not me particularly, but people in general who are disabled, who need this support, if they start coming after me again, I will not be so polite. I'm already yelling about some of the benefit changes that they want to put through. I'll just email my MP every fucking day, telling her, don't you dare fucking vote for this shit fuckery. I've already done it to her over that the pit fiasco, as the Tories called it. So no. If you start going down that line again, I will actually get very fucking angry and email constantly. Mark my words. I'm fed up of getting demonised like this, denied the money that I need to survive. So no, the politeness is getting thrown out the window if they carry on. There's no point in being polite when they're literally trying to end you.
I haven't got my usual fluff, stuff to look at, memes, etc. Is because I'm recording this off the cuff because I'm actually due to go on holiday. My first holiday since 2018, before the bad event, Q 2020 flashbacks. Enjoy your, moment, have one. Sorry, on today of all days, there's not really the need to encourage pandemic reminiscing, is there? There is enough horror, frankly.
Me being umpty. Thank you, Davinia.
Safe to say I am livid at what was announced by Labour today.
I'm livid by the fact that you're spelling it like an American. What is this fucking lack of you in the word Labour?
Oh, TikTok automatically sets the auto captions to English, US English.
This is unacceptable.
There is a difference. You can do it. I can check. I've checked it. You can do English parentheses US or English parentheses UK. Obviously, I've got it set to UK, the correct spelling. Right, J for back and K for forward. Thank you.
Safe to say I am livid at what was announced by Labour today.
I'm livid by the fact that you're spelling it like an American. What is this fucking lack of you in the word Labour?
Oh, TikTok automatically sets the auto captions to English.
Yes, I had a party every day during lockdown. Livid, outright perturbed. Rejoice, comrades. Red Rust is in the chat. Hi, Red. Still haven't figured out how to do my bench or build shelter for myself. I will get there. I will keep you updated. Everyone, go and follow Red. Oh no, have I set it up? Oh, I have to go and do that and... I will get the super mod to do that and I can get your shout out done. Because look, hang on. Haha! Oh, no. Keep me updated. That's fine. Honestly, Scribby, I like to know how my comrades and my chatters are doing. You don't need to say anything if you don't want to, but getting updates from our live, especially with this the cursed timeline. And if I see anything that people put in the chat and I can help, I will give you my advice. Whether you want to take it or not, it's entirely up to yourself. The discussion thing that I want the advice for building on wouldn't have. Unless it was like 4 or 5 feet thick of lead. You know, anything short of lead, you're still gubbed. Oh.
Like, see,
this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable.
I am livid at what was announced by Labour today. I didn't want, any silence or absence to be seen as tacit compliance or agreement with what they have done, because it is indefensible. It's just...
Okay, it's indefensible, and you don't want to be complicit with this. So I presume you're leaving the party then?
I mean, one would hope so. I mean, Madge put out a video, which I'll link in the description, talking about how even her and Graham Hughes were kind of talking about how that Labour had failed them, which is, again, buyer's remorse. It's just frustrating, again, because literally every single day in the run-up to the election, we were just pointing out constantly this is what they were going to be like, Yep. I've seen loads of people legitimately say, but I didn't think they were going to do this, I've been lied to. And I was just like, well...
Yeah, she does have an angry voice a lot, doesn't she?
But they did say, like, Liz Kendall did talk about no one getting a free pass and everyone who can work will work, and we will...
Yes, she's been literally saying that for years. Years. Even when she was in shadow cabinet. She'd been saying this... You have to remember, Liz Kendall's a fucking Blairite. Hang on, let's check. I'm sure she's been in Parliament for fucking decades. Give me a moment. Liz Kendall. Du-du-du-du-du. 8 years older than me. "16 years. Yeah, I thought she was in Blair's government, or at least a backbencher during the Blair years. So 2010, she came in when she's been. I'm sure she's been saying this since she's been an MP. So that's 16 years she's been in the Parliament. Old 4%. She's literally been saying this stuff for years. No free pass. She wanted to change the benefit system completely. Just basically punish the poor. Get wrecked, Liz Kendall.
Take measures to do that, and there was going to be a tough look at the welfare system. Like, they did say they were going to be like this. The current Chancellor of the Exchequer said they want to be tougher on benefits than the Tories in 2014, tougher than George Osborne, right? It's not like there wasn't the signs that were there, you just ignored them.
It's pretty poor timing that they chose to start shooting the poor. And I'm about to go off on a short break, as opposed to my usual breakdowns that occur at home. Everything about this has been despicable, from the briefings that absolutely did happen, because that's precisely how it works. There are people out there trying to defend it, trying to claim that this is all the big bad press. I mean, the press are feral, click-obsessed psychopaths, but they don't pluck it out of the air. And if you don't believe me, Google the dark arts, trying to click down. It's pretty poor timing that they chose to start shooting the poor. And I'm about to go off on a short break, as opposed to my usual breakdowns that occur at home. Everything about this has been despicable, from the briefings that absolutely did happen, because that's precisely how it works. There are people out there trying to defend it, trying to claim that this is all the big bad press. I mean, the press are feral.
I love that sentence so much. I mean, the press are feral, click-obsessed psychopaths. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Oh, Thank you, Davinia. We will move on to that next. Oh my god. That'd be a brilliant sound alert. I need a Stream Deck.
Click-obsessed psychopaths, but they don't pluck it out of the air. And if you don't believe me, Google the dark arts. If the press isn't briefed by Number 10, then it will just look at what the Tories were proposing to do and draw comparisons, although I imagine there wasn't that much of a comparison on this particular occasion. Of all the policy to drip feed, this was not the policy to drip feed. People have been worried sick for weeks about this, and it has a real life impact on people who are struggling with life limiting disability, with conditions that affect their everyday life, some of which may be psychological and worse.
If I don't know, because I haven't pre-watched this, but if her criticism is just they shouldn't have got people worried and not this policy is abhorrent.
Because they have learned from their best auntie ever. My niblet done this. I've shown them this video, this exact one. And they asked me, who's the woman they're responding to? That is Super Tansky. She is a content creator. Feel free to look her up if you want. We sometimes react to her. So they googled the dark arts, and guess what happened? Just Defence Against the Dark Arts and screeds of Harry Potter stuff. They sent some of them to me, so that was round about this time, so maybe a week or so after this video got put up by Kev. And they showed me, and I was sitting looking at my phone, and Super Hubby was looking at me like I'm some kind of mentalist or something. Said, "What the hell are you laughing at?" And Diblet sent me something, so we thought there was something in a video that I watched, and I sent it to them. And they've just sent me all the results when they googled it. It's fucking crazy. Oh yeah. Kendall's a psycho. She's a detestable ghoul. Huh.
Then she hasn't changed in the slightest.
What?
Reasonable.
I'm just going to put that out there now. I will wait and see what the end goal or the summation of this is.
Worsened by this kind of behaviour. I have friends on benefits, I have family members that need to claim incapacity benefit, I have friends with severe disability that will be impacted by this. I have conditions myself that if I was claiming benefits would be impacted by this. There is absolutely no part of me that is in agreement with it, and I will aim to get something out before I go off on holiday, but I just want to make it perfectly clear that I find it absolutely contemptible on every level that the priority of this government is apparently, shagging a good headline out of the Daily Mail and giving more fuel to the voters that absolutely do not respect them and will never vote for them because they're buying the con of Farage. Whilst
What the fuck? When they were trot.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Always a pleasure to see you in chat. Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Take your meds if you need to take any. Stay based. Free Palestine. And watch out for any benefit changes coming from this government. You have to remember Glaswegian Ghoul is now in charge. I literally live in fear of that man doing something to benefits. I really fucking do. Or look out for more reform candidates getting shown up to be racist pieces of shit, which is always a possibility. I'll be keeping a close eye on the newspapers about it, see if any more idiots or outright wankers get found out for being racist, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, anything anti-Semitic. It is a distinct possibility. Now that the campaigning has started up here.
When they told the left they weren't welcome in the party,
I hate this government as well, my dear.
What did you think they were doing then? He's been doing this for fucking years and years. He gave up on any semblance of his progressive pledges that got him elected leader. Did you think that was just what he was doing that for the lols?
Are you in YouTube? You are in YouTube. Hello. I am Katie Marshall 4340, a Scottish disabled Marxist streamer. I talk about health and disability issues and politics and some history. Welcome. So, you can see in the corner, this is Kevin Logan. He is also a streamer. Praise be our Brummy comrade. You will hear other voices who is no Justice MTG or Helena, and a chatter from Helena's community called Phil. And that is Super Tan. Hello, Super Tan! And this is her responding to what changes they wanted to do to benefits last year, and that they're still going ahead with the universal credit parts of the changes, but not PIP. aka wait for Tim's review in November, so a good few months away. Right before the budget, apparently. Fun. Be more blatant, why don't yous? So the Tim's review is Stephen Timms. He's second in command at the Department for Work and Pensions. And not podcast. Just stream just now. I will be doing a podcast. Watch this space. It'll be on Patreon. I will let everyone know the minute I've got it sorted. I'm still trying to figure out what sort of topics I want to talk about. Yeah, it doesn't pay any extra. You need to be in the other group, which basically means that you can't go back to work. So that's limited capability for work, which means there is still a sort of work requirement, meaning you basically still have to go to you still have to go to the job centre. Ugh. Yeah.
Like, this is exactly what he is. This is exactly what this government was always going to be.
Literally.
Yeah.
He's literally said the door is open and you can leave. Rachel Reeves was speaking to Charlie State on BBC Breakfast, and when questioned about, well, would you consider, instead of doing things, would you rather tax the rich? And Rachel Reeves was like, if you want to vote for taxing the rich, they can vote for a different party. And I'm like, yeah, I fucked off and I voted for a different party. Also, thank you JFK Rotting for the raiding party of 48. Welcome into the stream. Thank you very much for the cat emotes. Those are adorable. I appreciate it. I'm Notice MTG. I'm a socialist from the UK. I talk about UK politics from a left-wing perspective 6 days a week. If that sounds like your thing, please consider dropping a follow over on Twitch. That's free. It's also free to subscribe to YouTube at NoJusticeMTG as well. I am here with Kevin Logan, also a socialist, also from the UK, also streams most days of the week.
When was my last reassessment? My last reassessment, it was still... So I changed 2 years ago to adult disability payment, and it'd been a good few years before that. So that'd been 2024. Yeah, I changed over just before the general election in April or May. So it's been basically 2 years. So, fuck it, 2019 I think was my, no, before that. My last review was in 2015, and that was my third one. There was 2 done on me during the coalition, and one when the Tories were in power on their own. So I had 2 reviews in the space of like a year and a half, and they just left me on the lowest amount of PIP for years. They basically put me on a shelf and forgot I fucking existed for a while. Then they done 2 reviews, ending all of our money, like every last penny of it, including our housing and council tax benefits. We built up a lot of debt. It all got repaid though, because once they took me out of manual review and stuff, they paid us all back. including Super Hubby. This was before we were married, by the way. And we got it all back in one tranche between us. My PIP and his benefit and the benefit we claimed together for him looking after me. So we got it all in one fucking go. That was fun.
Go follow at KFLogan1875 over on Twitch, as well as at Ploppy111 over on the YouTubes. Everyone in my chat, please go and follow JFK_rotting over on Twitch for some excellent political content. Thank you very much for the raid. Please refresh your screens and click that follow button, because then you get to hear Ash Sarkar say that.
Yeah. JFK rotting. Too soon. He's only been rotting for 60 years. You're out of order. Did you see that Trump's going to release the JFK files or whatever?
The ones that are already released. They've already been declassified, right?
I don't know. But I mean, I hope it just comes out that it's all like the official story was true. Because I want the conspiracy theorists to go mental and go, see, they even had to go back in time and put all of the original files in there to make it look like it was Lee Harvey Oswald. You know what I mean? I can't wait to see fucking Alex Jones start going on about the time-travelling pot-bellied pygmies. You know, all that shit.
Simultaneously giving fuel to all the people
Correct.
in different factions on the left who said this was going to happen all along, and making a mockery of the people with disability.
Whoa. Like, it's not adding fuel to these people who said this was what was going to happen. We've just been proven correct. Like, you're acting as though this was like the strategic blunder that's allowed us to claim victory, rather than just the fact that we were fucking right. Like,
yeah, just
maybe
nice
this isn't
one,
all
Scribby.
fucking a game of 5D chess. Maybe we had a correct assessment of the kind of politics represented by Starmer and the Politburo and Morgan Sweeney, and you didn't pay attention, and you're a rube who got conned, and it's fine. All of us go through periods where we are rubes who get conned. I'm the very same. I voted for fucking Nick Clegg, right? I can't talk.
That's an even bigger Al. Jesus.
Literally, I can't talk about being conned like a rube in that regard, right? But to try and then backtrack to save face by saying that it was a 5D chess game that happened to work out in our favour.
Keep me updated, Red. I always check if you're live throughout the day. Obviously, no pressure. You stream when you can. Okay? I do miss you, though. Yeah. He's worse than the Dementors, isn't he? Oh! Or another way you can describe him. Give me my emotes, god damn you. No, just this. Matter. Call it Jake. Noom. Rhizome. Where is it? Briefcase. I like that one. That's one. That one's rather fun. Because there's plenty of briefcases about.
That's mega cope. Also want to explain for the new raiders in the stream, we are currently covering the backlash to proposed cuts to disability welfare from the current Labour government in the UK, which is taking £5 billion away from explicitly the sick and disabled as part of their cuts to try and fund military expenditure. Literally taking from the poor to give to arms manufacturers.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing, though. She.
No. Fuck. I'm Scotland based. Scribby and Jim Speak are England. They might be able to say, but up here in Scotland, not as yet. There a lot of rivers have been rising in level. My home city of Perth is the River Tay, and it has a nasty tendency to flood. But we've got a flood defence mechanism now for a floodgate system that prevents it from... It's happened before 95 going into 96. The lower half of Perth city centre got fucked. No, like, a lot of... Oh God, are they Georgian? So down near the river, literally, my old GP practice up in Perth, you could literally see the river from the practice. And all the ones that are lower down, so you had you're up, down, upstairs and downstairs. So where my GP practice was basically the scullery and servant quarters, essentially. And the upstairs was where the posh bastards lived. And from the window of the waiting room, you could literally see the river. So all those ones that were lower level, they all got fucked. Like the downstairs ones, literally up to their roofs in floodwater from the Tay. That took a good few years to get fixed and stuff, so my GP practice had to move to nearer to the hospital, which is Perth Royal Infirmary. So my GP practice got moved to one that's called Taymount, essentially, up from down near one of the inches of one of the parks in Perth. They are indeed red, yes.
It has to make it into some weird, like you say, 5D chess game. No, we were just right. You just have to take the L. You just have to admit we were fucking right. It's just correct analysis. It's not like a moral thing. It's not a moral failing to be wrong about something. You were just wrong and we were correct. And that might seem like I'm rubbing it in because I am, but like also I was right and you were wrong, and I'm just rubbing it in further. And someone should really interrupt me at this point.
And again, there would be...
They voted for...
Sorry, go on.
And again, there would literally be no skin off her nose if she just said, unfortunately they were right and I was wrong, and I admit that, fair play. And the rest of us would just go, yeah, sure, fair enough. You've had the humility. You've had the humility to admit that you got conned, and you will adjust your views in future. But again, there's motivated reasoning to assume that it's 5D chess rather than the reality of the politics represented by the Labour right. That she doesn't believe exists, by the way. She thinks there's such thing as a Labour right, which is hilarious to me. Also, thank you, Jack Miller, for the 499 super chat. I saw her tweet about getting annoyed at us lefties saying we told you so, and well, we did tell you so. Also, she tweeted out, or she retweeted somebody, they might have been also English, saying saying that we told you so to the people who voted for Trump when they do bad things. I'm like, well, can people say they told you so or not?
Yeah,
it's kind of fine when you do, but not when other people do it.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you're a nicer person than me. You might go, yeah, no, that's okay, fine, and move on. I am going to flex. I'm just a bad person, and I say that entirely as a compliment to myself.
For them in the vain hope that they would be something better, but instead we have careered back into 2010, pig Cameron territory, albeit with absolutely shattered public services, no social care, no care.
So would you say that actually it was you who was the Tory enabler? Curious.
I do think, I hope you don't mind me just adding something, but...
Go for it.
I do hope this gives a lot of people in this country some inward perspective in how we think about disabled people. I think a lot of people are starting to admit now that they know people who are on disability benefits, or, maybe they've had that themselves in the past. There's been quite a lot of shame, I think, in this country around that, when it's actually way more common than we think. And I hope it becomes a more unifying thing against policies like this, that people,
I hope
argue that case.
Yeah, I hope so, but my faith in humanity, as described earlier in the stream, is dead.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem, right? Is that my assumption for a lot of time post-pandemic would be that us understanding the concept of being a key worker in the wake of these people getting us through the pandemic and the clanging of the pots and the pans and the clapping for the NHS would have gotten people to recognise the value of the people on the bottom rung of the ladder, and they just fucking instantly went out the window as soon as 2023 rolled around.
Yeah,
that is true.
I need to step away for just a second. Can you say hello to everyone for like 2 minutes?
Also, I want to point out for people who are joining, I introduced Kevin and forgot to talk because you've not spoken for ages, Phil. We also have one of my chatters who've joined in the conversation as well, who is not a content creator, but they are a civil servant who works in the Department for Work and Pensions. And for Americans who've joined us, that is the people who administer things like welfare and the state pension, which is of course a welfare payment as well. Actually, fuck it. Right, it's that my assumption for a lot of time post-pandemic would be that us understanding the concept of being a key worker in the wake of these people getting us through the pandemic and the clanging of the pots and the pans and the clapping for the NHS would have gotten people to recognise the value of the people on the bottom rung of the ladder. Should be no skin off her nose if she just said, unfortunately they were right and I was wrong, and I admit that, you know, fair play. And the rest of us would just go, yeah, sure, fair enough. You've had the humility. You've had the humility to admit that you got conned, and you will adjust your views in future. But again, there's motivated reasoning to assume that it's 5D chess rather than the reality of the politics represented by the Labour right. That she doesn't believe exists, by the way. She thinks there's such thing as a Labour right, which is hilarious to me. Also, thank you, Jack Camilla, for the 499 super chat. I saw her tweet about getting annoyed at us lefties saying we told you so, and like, well, we did tell you so. Also, she tweeted out, or she retweeted somebody.
It's the national anthem with whatever that was.
You'd be very fucking welcome to.
Oh, fuck it.
Just want you to act at least somewhat grateful, if that would be nice.
Can we replace the national anthem with whatever that was?
You'd be very fucking welcome to.
Let's go.
On social media, getting angry at the idea of people rant time, that is the people who administer things like
what Super Tan said, right, David Cameron, former Prime Minister, I can't remember if this was when he was at Eton or something, the Golden Club or some ridiculous upper class fucking boys club essentially. As an initiation, he had to put his male member inside the mouth of a dead pig. That came out, that got reported on the news. Shattered public services, basically 14 years of Tory austerity, so no social care, no care in the community, and things like that. So yeah, these benefit changes are basically coming on top of a completely nearly annihilated social safety structure in the country, across all of the country essentially. Yeah, it is not good. So these benefit cuts that they wanted to introduce, and they still might go ahead, Tim's review. I will be reporting on it, don't worry. But yeah, he had to do that. We all had a chuckle when that story got reported on. It was rather funny. But these toffsies, basically, he's a baronet, by the way, David Cameron. He is literally aristocracy. He didn't need to go into politics to make things. He just thought, what our summation is, what our thinking is about him, is he just wanted to do it for the hell of it, and impose one of the most right-wing fucking governments we've ever known in the UK, and that includes fucking Churchill. So that coalition government and the 2015 Tory government onwards, completely fucking right-wing, total scumbags. and they basically done a severe form of ideology on this country. I have issues with the Tories, as you can tell. Yeah, good grief. This is one of the natural inclination of birth flowing. There is no social hierarchy, no monetary structure. Yeah.
Welfare and the state pension, which is of course a welfare payment as well. Actually, fuck it, rant time. Whilst we're here, I'm going to have a bit of a rant. I've seen loads of people on social media getting angry at the idea of people describing the state pension as a benefit, which it absolutely 100% is. People have got it into their mind because national insurance contributions are a qualifier. Those are the things you have to have enough payment years of to be able to qualify for some level of state pension. That means that's you paying into a pot that then pays you back out the state pension. This is not how the fucking state pension works, right? You're not paying into a pot.
Listen
Just
to
it
this.
qualifies you for that. It doesn't mean that those payments are what you've paid in. A national insurance is a general payroll tax as part of general taxation that pays for current pensions, right? The pensions that are getting paid out at the moment are a part of the benefit system, what we used to call social security, right? But essentially they renamed it to be benefits, or rather than welfare or social security, so they could essentially try and delineate between the good ones, pensions, and the bad ones, which is the benefits, which is welfare for the unemployed or the disabled or the sick, you know? But just because you've changed the name and because you've tried to obfuscate the reality, it doesn't change the fact that all the state pension is incapacity benefit for people who are too old that they can't work, right? Your disability that you're essentially getting paid a pension for is that you're too old. That is your work incapability, is that we have judged you to be too old to have to work. And that's fine. It's a good thing that we have a state pension. It's a good thing that it's triple locked. And it's a good thing that people receive this benefit. But because we've trained through media propaganda to see benefits and social security as being a bad thing, and the people who engage in the usage of them, the people who need them to survive, we've described them as being the scroungers versus the skivers, the parasites and the leeches of the system, the hard workers have to pay for, right? We have essentially created a system where we've forgotten that that's also the case with pensioners too. So we've taken them out of the social security system, which is what it is. It is just social security. Everyone who tries to treat the pension like an entitlement doesn't understand that if the government wanted to take away your state pension, they could fucking do that tomorrow if they wanted. Now, it wouldn't pass through the Lords. They would need a manifesto commitment to do that. But any government could do that. And every single penny you've paid in national insurance, there's not a pot that you can claim out of later because it's currently being paid by current taxpayers. And they want you to forget this.
Yeah.
There was a political incentive for the people who currently receive pensions to make everybody else forget that it's paid for by current taxation, so that they can imply that they don't actually have to care about the material interests of the people who are increasingly seeing.
Thank you for the stretch, Chana. I needed that. That's freed up my shoulders. Thank God. Mwah. Thank you. Now let's get recovered back up again. Oh, so cozy. That's better. Bring the back. Keep me warm. Ta-da! And where is my remote? Remote.
Higher taxes, and we've got the highest level of overall taxation as a percentage of GDP since the Second World War in this country, and a large proportion of that is the ageing population with a high pension bill. But because people who are pensioners feel entitled rather than privileged to have access to a state pension as part of the social security system, they
rejoice. Natok is here. Hi, Natok. Pollution with clean quality to free ourselves from the pollutants of. I some more to agree with you. Hurry up.
I think that
Mostly agree
any
with
amount
you.
of reduction in there, whether it be winter fuel payment or the removal of the triple lock, as being something that's taken away that they are entitled to, rather than something that we, as taxpayers, as working people, as people who are the ones who fund the remainder of the system, broadly, of course, government spending is paid for from the government through money creation. It's not actually paid for by taxes, but the taxes control the overall money supply, so it's similar in that regard. At the very least, that productive capacity is necessary to be able to have a pension contribution in the first place. But unless you admit that it's a benefit paid for by current taxpayers, you can completely ignore our concerns. Because again, I think it's good. I want to pay taxes. I want to have a welfare system and a social security system that protects the people in our old age. But the more that those pension claimants refuse to engage in our concerns and the things that are necessary for us to be able to survive, whether it's welfare or good jobs or work-life balance or being able to work from home, all of these things that working people who are the contributors to productive capacity that makes us afford the state pension in the first place, right? Unless you take that into account, you're going to get to the point where there will be a revolt from taxpayers against pensioners to take away your treats that you've got as a result of the social security system that I support, okay? So if you're a pensioner who's watching this, if you're somebody who does qualify for the state pension, give us some fucking slack. I don't want you to lose your pension. I think it was bad you lost your winter fuel allowance. I think the social security system is a good thing. But first of all, what you have to do is recognise that you're in the same position as every disabled person in being a recipient of state welfare and social security, and B, at least be somewhat grateful for the fact that there are people out there who go to work to ensure that our system can survive by also paying out your triple lock state pension. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be able to do that. Some reciprocity in the state of the country would be nice. Because again, at no point am I saying that you should have any of this taken away. I just want you to act at least somewhat grateful, if that would be nice.
Can we replace the national anthem with whatever that was?
You'd be very fucking welcome to.
Let's go.
Any of the stuff that Labour left behind when they left office last time. No, we have got a bomb site and we have got people being forced to now jump through ever more challenging hoops just to get a little bit of support, having already endured 14 years of abject fucking misery, and the patronising delivery of it, painting this as some kind of moral crusade, as a bunch of people in John Lewis suits stand there on 91k a year plus expenses telling poor people, well, you're just going to have to suck it up, when they could be taxing the wealthiest people in this country. But
now, this is where you don't have any excuse, because they absolutely ruled that out during the general election campaign. The general election campaign that you were very enthusiastic for and that you thought everyone should go and vote for Labour. And they strictly said, we have these fucking rules, we're not going to tax rich people. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why you would remotely expect them to now do so when they promised you they wouldn't do so.
And again, this isn't lefties predict.
Kev has a point. Was literally in their campaigning during the general election, the lead up to the general election. So the general election was the 4th of July. 4th of July 2024. So in the 6 weeks preceding that, that was literally in their manifesto. The one they mostly turned back on, by the way. They had a shadow manifesto, which they're now trying to enact and push through the House of Commons. And there's been a couple of backbench rebellions because it literally wasn't in the manifesto, and they don't have a leg to stand on, and they can't use the Parliament Act to force it through the Lords. Basically, the Parliament Act is their sledgehammer saying, shut up, you crusty old bastards, this was in the manifesto, you can do fucking nothing about it. We are leaving it as is and passing it through the House of Commons. They can't do that because all the stuff, especially these PRIP ones, some of these benefit changes, wasn't in the fucking manifesto. Not taxing rich people was. But that would go through the House of Commons anyway, because most of the people in that fucking place are rich bastards. So yeah, they literally said they would not be taxing wealth. And Supertan here was actively campaigning for them, saying you should go and vote Labour to get rid of the Tories. Labour were guaranteed to win that general election, by the way. The Tories were fucked. They were toast. But all their major change, all the major legislation that they're now trying to force through wasn't in the fucking manifesto. So they don't have a leg to stand on. They can't force it through the House of... They can't basically tell the House of Lords to shut the fuck up. Because it wasn't in the manifesto. Well done, Labour. You'd actually been truthful about it. You could have just forced it through. Now you can't because it wasn't in your manifesto. Ha ha ha. I will keep on saying this to everyone that listens to me. You can believe their manifestos if you want to. I don't. It is mostly conjecture and lies. No. Yeah. And we've been telling them there's no point talking to Moorhouse, Andy. No. Unless she's changed her tune, I would say there'd probably be no point in talking to Supertan either. Graham Hughes might be amenable, so might Femi. I'm not too sure about Bowler Hat Man. He was also campaigning for Labour as well. Literally telling all his people in his community on his YouTube and stuff to vote Labour during the general election. And I was literally saying to everyone here in Springburn, here in Glasgow, don't vote for Labour. You know exactly what they're like. They neglected us, or they done horrible shit to us. We kept on campaigning and emailing our Labour MPs, especially here in Glasgow, to be better. To do better legislation. Did they fucking listen to us? No, they didn't. And I tried to tell that to everyone around me. You know exactly what they're like. They neglected us for the best part of a fucking century. This one was safe Labour seat, by the way, until the SNP took it, and just after the independence referendum. So the 2015 general election, we got so fucking fed up with the bastards. We said, nope, we're not believing you anymore. Get wrecked, fuck off. And voted SNP. And things started to get better. SNP council as well here in Glasgow. And things started getting fixed. Started treating us like human beings. And we went back to them now. And I really, really despise my MP. I really don't like her. She voted for these benefit changes. Her constituency is one of the most deprived in the fucking UK. And she wanted to inflict this on us and people like me here in the north of Glasgow. Maureen Burke, fuck off. Literally following the Labour line to a T. I hope you lose your seat. I will be campaigning for you to lose your seat in 2029, or if the general election gets called before it. We will see. I'm still saying it's either going to be next year or 2028. Let's see if I get proven correct. Wouldn't surprise me if I was. Because most of us on the left are fucking Cassandra. Literally screaming into the void. They're gonna fucking do this, just listen to us for a change. But no, we're all Trotskys and student politics and all that. Don't listen to those loony lefties. It sucks being correct and no one fucking listening to you. I know how Cassandra feels.
This with what they would be doing or not doing, right? This isn't us being the oracles predicting this and trying to say we told you so. This is the words of Rachel Reeves. Again, when asked by Charlie Stay, why won't you tax the rich? She said, if you want taxes for the rich, you should vote for somebody else. Guess who was proposing taxation on the rich during the election? It was the Green Party, and you told people not to vote for them. You told them to vote for Labour, who were telling you they weren't going to do this. And now you're getting frustrated at the idea that they're not doing the thing that they were explicit in saying they weren't going to do after you told people not to vote.
I am lucky. I've got a genius of a husband who's literally fed us when we've basically had hardly any benefits coming into this household. The man is a god to me. I don't know how he fucking managed it. Like on the lowest amounts of benefit possible for two grown adults, one of whom has disability issues, who needs to have a regular diet so she could take her pills. He still fucking managed it. I don't know how. I will say again, the man is a genius. Yeah.
the party that said they were actually going to do it.
Yeah.
Go and
Also,
get caffeine.
as an aside, very good point from Ben Sharp in chat, that the same pensioners who want to maintain the triple lock, as I also want to maintain it because I want to have a good social security system, are also the same ones who want to reduce migration, which would reduce the productive capacity of the working age population. So there'll be fewer working age because there'll be fewer working age people in the country, want to therefore reduce migration and therefore make it even higher taxation on what few working people there would be left if we didn't have migration.
Yeah.
Very funny.
It feels like
Let's face it.
It feels like the plates that they're trying to spin right now, which is obviously the pension budget is pretty big, and they're thinking, right, well, let's just basically pull more labor force from people who are sick and disabled, because they don't want to address the fact that we need immigration.
Yeah, like even if you got every disabled person into work, right?
We are more than likely going Cassandra again. I read the newspapers every day, blah, blah, blah. I get my morning digest, da, 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 da. And I look out for horrible policies coming down the pipe. And I will respond to them, literally screaming at the Labour government, can you fucking hear me yet? It's no fun being Cassandra. I just want to be listened to, and I want better legislation and better policies. Luckily, I'm part of the Scottish Greens. We have brilliant fucking policies. The SNP have somewhat decent policies as well. Student fees, what are those? Publicly owned water. Peak rail fares gone. Free bus travel for under 21s? Under 25? I can't remember what the age cut-off is. But free travel for young people. My two nephews use their free bus travel. They live up in Perth. That is my younger sister's two boys, by the way. They love their bus pass. They think it's brilliant. I'm Omaha out of track. Is that you? Hello. Hello, hello. As a character, I love Cassandra. Very the concept of Cassandra, brilliant. Love it. Yes. But actually being a Cassandra in real life sucks. No.
Wouldn't be a long-term solution
No.
for the incredibly top-heavy population pyramid we have in this country.
Yeah. There's just generally just, I mean, really, not like in a negative way, but there's just too many pensioners. There's not enough working people to pay for every single pension. Like, the funds just should come from somewhere else. We shouldn't be, like, trying to fund the pension by taking it away from disabled people.
Exactly, you're absolutely right. And that's the thing is that the Aaron Bassani was going about the numbers. I think in the last 50 years, the number of pensioners has increased by like factors of 10. Like that's how precipitous our increase has been in the number of pension claimants. Like people, the increase in those who are reliant on essentially who are economically inactive being pension recipients, right? And that's a lot of demographic aging in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's across the West, happening across the West as well. It's not unique to UK.
Yeah. It's nice, isn't it?
Ah! Oh God, this is 8 years old. Right, Male. Female. Where am I? Here, I'm here. No, what would I have been 8 years ago? I would have been... this one. There we go. So there. The largest cohort are 50... fucking hell. Huh. So here's the bulk of the population, this age demographic here, which is 45 up to 65 essentially. So here's your pensioners. Here's us Gen Xers round about here. Here's the millennials, and here's the children. Here's the Zoomers. So in 2018, I was here, roughly. I'm up here now. I am 47. This is Super Hubby. Oh, well, other side. This is Super Hubby here. So that is the bulk of people who are nearing retirement age, and all your either boomers or silent generation, the ones who actually were born either just before or during the war. There's no many of these people. Look. But so the main cohort basically here, this is the people who regularly vote. We're learning, the Gen Xers and stuff. But this is the ones, these age groups, 55 upwards to about 75. These are the main ones who want it to stay the same, who keep on voting against the lower demographics, people my age. I am currently 21 years away from getting my pension. My state pension, my benefit, my pension, that is. Oh, you're welcome, Heliop. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I'll be a priestess instead of a princess. Well, godly. No, I'm here to do good, Apollo, and not to be your pet on the side. Yeah. Oh God, Olympians were detestable. Still fascinating characters, obviously.
All of the shredding of all vestiges of support.
Damn,
Beautiful.
my mice needs charged.
By the way, the eight, just for people who are unaware of in chat, that is a reference to the fact that as soon as the election was over, Otto English, the person who tweeted that out about shredding Labour Party's base of support, tweeted out the phrase, "It's nice, isn't it, the quiet," to describe the fact that the Labour Party were in government, there was no more Tories, because that is his entire conception of politics is red team good, blue team bad.
Yeah.
The reason they're not is because they haven't got the balls to do it. They have got a pretty sizable majority. They can do pretty much whatever they like, and they are choosing to do this. And my motto moving forward is if they want to act like Tories, they're going to get the Tory treatment. They're going to get both barrels of criticism, except they're
Oh, so in the future they might get criticised by you. Cool.
See, if they're going to act like Tories by adhering to the things they said they were going to do before the election, like I said, it says, well, they're choosing not to tax the rich. They've got a massive majority, and I'm just like, well, no, they're sticking to their... Yeah. They're sticking to their manifesto commitments of not increasing taxation. Like they said they weren't going to do this.
Yep.
From the people that tried to help them attain power in the first place, in the hope that they would be something different. And after what we all endured for 14 years, I don't think there's anything...
Let me just stop you there, Tansky. They're getting criticism from the people who elected them on the hope that there were going to be something better. So what, did you voted for them just on Inshallah? Was that your electoral strategy? Was just vote Labour and Inshallah?
Vote
And-
well. Look, vote Labour, and then hope for the best. Maybe a little
Yeah,
bit.
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Once we've
hopefully they were lying about the awful things they said they were going to do.
No, they weren't. No. Literally, I was like a silent voice saying to everyone, don't fucking trust them. Especially up here in Scotland, we could have voted. You can vote SNP up here, for crying out loud. I feel for the people of England and Wales Wales have got Plaid, thank God. But the people in England, completely fucking screwed. They had 3 fucking options, or 4, if you can. What one am I talking about? So they could have voted either Labour, Lib Dem, Reform, or Tory. That's it. Neoliberals down the line. We have the SNP up here, or the Scottish Greens. As much as I'd love to see a Scottish Green MP, is it feasible? I am not entirely sure. We will find out. Do not worry. But we've got the SNP up here, who are better. Not saying perfect, just better than the ones that poor English bastards have to vote for, people like Kevin, Helena and Phil. Or Supertan, for that fact. And literally a lot of the supposed left-wing commentators and YouTubers and stuff, the British ones at least, a good few of them were saying vote Labour. And I was literally screaming at them. Well, not screaming in the comments and stuff. I was basically saying to them, I'm glad I've got the SNP up here. I feel for my English comrades. I really fucking do. Yous are all fucked. You have no options to vote left wing other than the Greens. But yeah, I've got a guy out clause in the SNP. Whew, thank God. But yeah, they no. Me literally warning everyone around me, don't trust them. Some of them might have been good in the past, don't get me wrong, but not now. The ones we'll be voting for now, no. Don't trust them. They're all Blairites, they're all bastards. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could fucking spit. Or as much as I could fucking whistle. Nope. And there's still friends here. Luckily, my family members voted SNP. Other than a couple of family members who still voted Labour, but they knew exactly what they were getting. Your return. Welcome back, Davinia. And a lot of my friends here in Glasgow came up to me a few months later after the general election. Katie, I think we should have listened to you. Really? Wow, thanks. Should have just listened to me then and voted SNP. Yeah. Oh, right. I changed my HRT patches on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 2 p.m.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
Anything wrong with hope?
It's one thing to elect people who have policies that you like in their manifesto, and another thing to go, well, I know they don't have anything, but maybe this one time they might just do the things I want them to do in Magical Christmas Land. Woo! Thing as well is that,
oh, for fuck's sake, go on.
17.
Thing is, even if they'd lost votes, even if they'd lost votes to people who actually want to see progressive policy, who support the kind of things that were part of the Corbyn Manifesto or what the Greens ran on in 2024, they probably would have still won the election. Maybe not with a giant majority or a massive majority, as James O'Sensible would have called it. They would have still won the election and been in government.
He does look kind of biblical in this one, doesn't he?
Electorally, of losing seats to progressive voters, rather than all the progressive voters essentially giving them their votes completely unconditionally, would have meant they would have had to offer something.
Yeah.
They would have been forced to offer something so that they wouldn't lose future votes if they failed on the promise of progressivism. But now they've realised that people will just vote for them regardless of how right-wing they are, because people have accepted that they have nowhere else to go, even though there is plenty of places for them to go. So they have no reason to court your vote anymore. They're losing votes to reform now. And so, well, yeah, of course they're going to try and out-reform. That's where they think their electoral cohort is going to be in future, because the existing cohort is full of people who will literally vote for them regardless of how many conservative policies they do and or promise to do. Yeah. Whereas if there was, instead of 40 seats with the Greens in second, there are 100 seats with the Greens in second, or 50 with Greens, 20 with Workers' Party, some with the Lib Dems.
I feel for you, Davinia. Can you get those strips at pharmacy? I can't remember. If you can, go and ask a pharmacist if you can get the strips, and you can check that. I would assume you know how to use them, and it will tell you what's in your urine. It'll be able to tell. Oh no, then you are. You don't need to get those strips. Yes, you are. Eat more dairy, like actual moo, so like milk, cheese, yogurt, things like that. Oh no, it doesn't really matter. All the beta blockers, this happens. That's why you have to make sure that you maintain bone health. The estrogen will be helping with that, by the way, as well. That's why AFAB, when we get older, we get HRT to maintain our bone health. I've been on it forever, but my bones are still wearing away because of autoimmune disease. That's why I eat a fuck ton of dairy. I'm sorry if any vegans are hearing this. I do apologise. But I need it for health reasons. My bones are literally wearing away. So I need all the dairy I can fucking shove into my gob. Oh. Maybe you should go and get a DEXA scan. That'll tell you your bone density. I've had two? How many DEXAs are there? I've had 3 DEXA scans done in my life. 2 of them over the space of a year, oddly enough. Well, my first one, then the second one was 14 months later. Then the other one was 2 years after that, which was about 3 years ago, during the pandemic. So I've had DEXA scans to check my bone density, and it is wearing away. Mostly in my pelvic girdle, so like my hips and the tops of my femur, my thigh bones. So I'm losing basically bone density around my hips and my lower back and my spine. Go. It's also wearing away in my arms and legs and stuff, so. Oh, I've never had any upper body strength either. I've had lower body strength, like my legs and my knees and stuff back in the day, but not now because my knees are fucking. The least said about my knees, the better. That's why I keep on fracturing them, and I haven't dislocated them yet. Thank God for that one. I see what my niblet goes through. They have a nasty habit of dislocating their shoulders and their knees. My poor sweetie. Also estrogen. We need the fat to cushion our pelvic girdle and our stomach and stuff, and the tops of our legs, for childbirth reasons. So we've got more fat than people with XY chromosome. Oh, forgot to put the lid back on that. You can go back now.
Then they would have loads of threats to their majority coming from the left and the right. And currently, it's all coming from the right. So they have no reason to court your vote, Subitansky. And this was exactly what I said before the election, and I've been proven right.
That maybe they could retrain the rubber-sniffing dogs, once they've stopped the votes, to sniff out fraud from disabled people. Have they considered that?
It is rather good having a cushioned fundament. I call it my bubble butt. He says I don't really need to worry too much about the backside. I'm still going to call it my bubble butt. Most of my fat distribution's around my middle and around my hips and stuff. My legs aren't too bad actually. I have a lower amount of fat on my thighs. Oddly enough, I don't have cellulite, thank God. Yeah, it makes my family laugh and I call it my bubble butt. I always get a grin from them for that one. Oh.
Because those you wouldn't want to sack those dogs. They're specially trained.
That this lot were going to be different. That hope was pretty much all we were clinging on to after years of corruption, misery, and punishing attitudes towards the poorest people in society.
Super Tan, we fucking warned yous all. Where we listened to. I don't know how fucking blatant we need to get. I really don't. I don't understand. We've literally been saying this to you for years since he became Labour leader. And she was in the Department of Work and Pensions. We have literally been saying this. Oh dear God. I used to be like that. I used to be a lot heavier than I am now. I was nearly 17 stone at one point in my mid-20s. I've lost a lot of weight since then. I was 20 years ago. So over the space of like 5 years I lost like maybe 2 stone. Then I got my gallbladder removed and I lost 4 stone in the space of a year. Funny what removing your gallbladder does to your appetite, fucking hell. Holy fuck. Exercise might work. Leg curls. I'll see if I can think of them again and I can maybe tell you them. I can I can DM them to you if you wish. They'll come back to me eventually.
Okay, Super Tansky. Did you consider, why did you not buy him a ticket to the Arsenal? Because honestly, if you'd have bought him a special corporate box at the Arsenal...
Thank you, Michael. Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Take your meds if you need to take any. Stay based. Free Palestine. And watch out for reform Egypts in your area campaigning if your council's up for election.
Arsenal, you might have gotten a policy or two, but you didn't, and that's your problem. That's your fault. You knew what to do. You knew he was corrupt as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, they didn't know. They refused to listen to criticism from our side about the internal machinations of the Labour Party because they refused to believe that the people who they thought were the good guys would be like that. So they blinkered out all criticism of the Politburo and what was happening behind the scenes with McSweeney and shit because they were too focused on Tories bad. They couldn't accept that there was anything wrong with the Labour because they were the opposition that they needed. And it's sad because if they'd have paid attention, they would have known. What this reminds me of, actually... Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, some of them did notice, though, and rather than taking that on board and heeding that warning, they went, oh, you're just obsessed with Corbyn. Jam man bad.
It's true, they did say that. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that lady who went viral on Question Time in 2016, who voted for the Conservatives in the 2015 election and started crying in the audience. Legitimately, she was very upset because the welfare bill from 2016 that Labour should have voted against and didn't took away her child tax credit, and she relied on that to pay for her kids' food. And she was told by the Conservatives they wouldn't cut it, and then they cut it. And she was like, I trusted you and you lied to me, and now I won't be able to deal with my kids. And this is obviously heart-wrenching. And this led to a very viral moment, which has spawned a litany of memes.
Yeah.
Which was that somebody tweeted out the phrase, the very now infinitely famous phrase, "I didn't think the leopards would eat my face," said the woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. This is exactly the same thing from the other side.
So
I didn't think the disability cutting party would cut disability benefits.
Yeah. To the point where now there's literally a thing I watch regularly with Christy, which is, it's from America, but it's called like Dark Brandon or some dumb shit. Anyway, and they have a bit on there called the Leopards Eating Faces Party, and it's literally an animated leopard responding to stuff, and it's the joke is basically based off that meme, right? That it's the leopard that's going to eat your face. But it was the anti-Semites, like you and I, that warned them, so they couldn't listen to us because Jam Man bad. If you remember, we literally Hitler. We're obsessed with literally Hitler. That is a joke.
Also want to make it clear that a big part of what helped the last government get elected was not only grassroots support from not only independent voices online, but also tactical vote campaigns. That tactical vote campaign put them there. That tactical vote campaign can get them the fuck out again. They are alienating their core base. This is akin to, I don't know, the Tories offering out free joints. It is absurd behaviour from a Labour government. And there is obviously no way...
And it is like that because the Tories would not react well to that because they prefer lines of coke, of course.
That's true, definitely.
Usually off a rent boy's arse or something if they can.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to repeat myself, but this is exactly why I told people not to tactically vote. Because tactical voting is why they are doing right-wing policies that disenfranchise their base. Because the tactical vote campaign was done by people who voted for whoever they thought they should vote for to get the Tories out, rather than the merits of policy. And people on the right do want to vote on the merits of policy if they want to be courted by the Labour Party. So they had no reason at all to offer any progressive policy to anybody, because their vote was decided by what StopTheTories.Volt told them, rather than anything about what Keir Starmer said or did. You know?
Yeah.
Or what they promised in the manifesto.
But we got the Tories out. We did, honest.
I think it's actually, I remember with the whole leadership debates, I think it was really crazy how little Keir Starmer could say in the space of an hour or two, and how the entire country's just ran with that. Yeah. I mean, he basically sold them nothing, and they accepted it.
Yeah, because the adults were back in the room. The adults are back in the room. Just vibes and vibes.
Like, Rash Sarkar called out Darren Jones directly to his face and said, your manifesto is fucking empty because you know that you can just say whatever you need to do to get you over the line, and then you have free reign to do whatever you want when you're in government, and just say, oh, we found this mess, let's just do it. And she was just fucking right. And Darren Jones was shaking his head, and he fucking knew that was the plan all along, which is just get elected off of nothing, off of vibes, and then have free reign to again just rip up councils, abolish NHS England, completely overhaul the welfare system with zero manifesto pledge to do any of these things, regardless of whether there were merits or not.
Yeah.
In hell that I will ever support the most vulnerable people in society being played off against each other. Not only that, another slow clap for Labour comms, because they've not even released an impact assessment. That's going to be in the spring statement, which is another week away, which means another week of rampant...
They didn't do an impact statement. Then they carried on with that whole shit show in the House of Commons. Then they said, oh, we'll do the impact statement now, and we'll put it in it'll be part of the Timms review. So they still didn't do it. Even after this, they didn't do an impact statement. They didn't go to charities and disabled people and their doctors and stuff like that to do an impact statement on what these benefit cuts were going to do to people. They literally were just going to force it through no matter what was going to happen to people like me. And they can go and fuck themselves for that one. Not doing an impact statement is scumfuckery of the highest order. These things have to be done to prove what is going to happen to people, but no, they don't give a fuck. Bunch of fucking ghouls. Anything informed on the words of chocolate most instruments. No, the government can't run out of money. No, can't. Sovereign wealth issuer.
Speculation and people not entirely knowing how this is going to affect them personally. Well done. Honestly, well done. You've only had, 14 years to prepare for power. People are not knowing how this is actually going to affect them.
I'm gonna go fucking crazy.
It is mental. We did literally tell you they had no fucking plan.
Yes, the reason that they have no plan, Supertansky, is because they first of all, they've not been in charge of the government, they've not been in charge of the opposition for a large part of the time when they should have been in opposition, because Jeremy Corbyn's actual progressive side of the party were in charge for 4 years.
Because it's called the Fourth Reich, please.
It's true. But in the time when they were in opposition, from 2019 until 2024, they spent their entire time trying to purge the left, inventing random things to do trot hunting by telling people that they should leave the party in a whole bloody televised press conference filmed by Sky and BBC and ITV and what have you, by expelling people from the party who'd been MPs since the 70s, by getting people removed from the positions to stand as MPs off of nebulous grounds like liking Nicola Sturgeon's tweets. Their obsession was with purging the left from not just the party but from politics altogether.
I was going to go to my main makeup bag, which is next to the sofa, which is behind me, so just over there, to get my mascara, eyebrow pencil and my concealer. I didn't need to. They were in this little side pocket connected to my desk. So I've got them now. So I have got my makeup ready for tomorrow morning to my left. And my setting spray. Aha. Oh! Where are we? Those. Ignore the underwear. Trousers, because it's windy. Pebble top. So I've got my cardi as well. Got cardi there. So this is my main top. I love that it's man-made fibres, unfortunately. But it is comfy. And it has pretty flowers on it. So I'm going with a green look. Because it do be spring and green is lovely. So you can look at there. Move you back over on top because I put you on first. And the underwear can go up there. Go there. Plus, you can't see them. They're under a chair over there. I'm wearing my Skechers because comfort. Or I could go through to the bedroom in the morning and get my knee highs with my Pride laces in them. They're comfy, they're flats, they're not heels. I do still have some heeled boots, but because of the instability in my knees and my ankles now, I can't wear them. I keep on meaning to take them up to my niblet. They're the same shoe size as me. And I think my 3-inch heeled boots? My 3-inch heeled boots would look gorgeous on my niblet. I don't think they'd be able to wear them either. Plus I've got a lot of 1.5-inch and 2-inch heeled boots in a bag in the bedroom. Not under bed because there's no under bed storage. Next to bed. Oh, wrong one. Stretch your legs out. Bring the footrest up to support knees. There we go. Come forward. toasty now. Thank God. Hydrate. Hydrate. Thank you for the hydrate. I needed that.
And you're here going, I've got
Corbyn
before 14 years to do something. We should have fucking paid attention when the entire time in the opposition, they didn't fucking say anything about what they were going to do bloody in power. You're a political commentator. This is your fucking job.
True.
Right, they're sitting there online going, what does this mean? What does this mean? But people should be able to decipher how a government policy is going to affect them without being forced to pore over a green paper on the government website. It should be clear and it should be direct. If you're going to fuck someone hard up the arse, you better tell them how you're going to do it in advance. I don't just encourage people to flood the inboxes of their MPs. We're going to need some direct action on this. Even if they do U-turn on it, the damage is done.
I advocate for people emailing their MP over certain policies and stuff, certain legislation going through. They might listen to it. Researchers, whoever works in their constituency office or whoever works in their Westminster office as well, they read all this stuff and they highlight the ones that they think the MP might respond to. I got a reply from not my MP but her lead researcher when I was having issues.
Because they've tried to do it.
When I was having issues getting my passport. It wasn't until someone I know helping me with it, because the passport office are freaking idiots. They got me confused with someone else and said I was not allowed a passport and I would be losing the $88.50 I paid for it. But no, they apologised profusely and they gave me a refund and I still got my passport because the HM passport office fucked up. So essentially the MP gets the credit, but it was our main researcher who I was emailing and talking to get that resolved. I wasn't about to lose $88.50. They can fuck off with that nonsense. And passport office, get your shit together, would you? Fucking hell. Oddly enough, I've always got a response from my MPs, be them Labour or SNP. That's all we've ever had here, either Labour or SNP. Like this seat that I'm currently sitting in has been Labour since the Labour Party formed. That's why I say over a century. Then we got fucking fed up with them, saying no, they're not working for us. And we went SNP, then things started changing. Woohoo. I used to say I've been voting Labour since the Stone Age.
Sadly, I don't think they are going to U-turn, no. They've chosen who is going to take the hit. No, they think against all logic and sense that there's like an untapped pool of resources amongst, I don't know, the people that are caring.
Yeah, Tanner for the photo as well. I needed documentation from my GP, but they didn't charge me for it. Oddly enough. Thank you. Essentially free bus travel for me. So I got the relevant information that the passport office was wanting about my health stuff. I didn't get charged for it, thank God. Yeah. I think Helena's explained that one before as well. And so Jamie Dodger in his videos, changing his gender marker. 30 quid. Ugh.
Unpaid for their loved ones. The people topping up their terribly low wages with universal credit and are severely disabled. Yeah, they're just, they're just a resource just waiting to be used as cheap labour by the billionaires that Labour is refusing to tax, aren't they? It makes zero sense politically and morally.
They said during the election campaign in 2024, Tan, that they weren't going to tax wealth. If you wanted that, you should have voted for the Greens. No. I would really want Tan to change her mind and start voting for the... She doesn't need to join the party. But voting for the Greens would be better. I don't know what seat she sits in, actually. What constituency she's in. Tan, if you want wealth to be taxed, vote for the Greens. That's all we can say to you. Or we can say to you, do any fucking trust Labour? And that is getting borne out by this one video alone, let alone other ones. Do you want this Labour government doing it stuff? Yeah, it makes no sense to me, Davinia. It really doesn't.
And economically, you could make tens of billions of pounds by putting a wealth tax on the richest people in this country, and that would...
I actually think I'm going to have a heart attack. I genuinely, this is too much. There was a party at the election that said this, and you said no, that's weird rubbish, you're a Tory enabler, piece of shit. This is where you ended up. This is where you ended up. To be fair to them, they've said all along, we're not going to do a wealth tax. We don't think that's right. And you voted for them, and now what? You're confused that they're not doing a fucking wealth tax?
Well, if I'm gonna olive branch here. Maybe.
I think Gabe's going to have a coronary. All right there, me comrade. Fucking hell. Tan, we literally told you this. Oh well.
Not Supertansky, but people who are sympathetic with Supertansky who might be watching this. If you
Calm down,
agree
comrade.
with both me and with Kevin and with Supertansky, and I'm assuming with Phil, who's also in the call as well, that we should be having a wealth tax on the billionaires and the multimillionaires, the super rich who have loads of asset wealth, then there is a party that's offering it, and there is a group within the party who are agitating to take Labour to task over this and try and win their supporters over to our side. We're called Greens Organised. We're starting up our campaign for the local elections this week. And if you are somebody who has been falling out of love with Labour, you were tricked by the narrative they push in opposition and voted tactically because you wanted to get the Tories out, and are incredibly disappointed with the Labour Party that is acting like the Conservative Party in red rosettes, there is another option. Hope does have a new home. Please join us at Greens Organised and help us try and actually have a real alternative for real hope and real change. This has definitely not been a party political broadcast.
Yes.
I think it's
20,000 people.
I like
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I think it's also worth pointing out that she does make one interesting point about the damage already being done, because I think this is potentially going to be a ripple effect for Labour if they did U-turn on this, because even with the Conservatives, there was a very common consensus amongst claimants of universal credit that there was some sort of fixture within the system that people were specifically being targeted for certain things. And now we have a situation where the government has basically just outright said yeah, we're targeting you. And if they U-turn on that and something happens to somebody that obviously doesn't go their way, they're going to feel like they've been secretly targeted. You just ruin trust in people.
The thing is, as well, it's if we're going to talk about from neutral, I'm going to put my neutral political commentator hat on. If we're going to talk about this from a communications perspective, right, is that just like the winter fuel means test, in a year's time after the policy has been passed, just like they took the winter fuel payment away over this very cold winter that we just had, right, any member of the right-wing or even left-wing press or the centrist press, at any point can go, here is the official statistics from the ONS that showed that there was X amount increase in health-related or like cold-related deaths amongst the elderly in the winter period, or there was this much increase in terms of disability of people who are disabled committing suicide, and you can just...
Socialix! Correct, yes, this is before Zach became leader. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Socialix. Say hello to Socialix, everyone. I thought I was... Oh, there's John. That's funny, John. I like that. I'm sure I was in the chat trying to keep Kev calm. I can't see me, but that chat for this video was very active. Including you, Socialix, oddly enough. Hello, welcome. Great to see you.
That's a headline, and the Labour Party's dead, right? That headline is Labour Party are the granny killers. Again, and it wouldn't just be speculation, there would be at least circumstantial evidence to at least suggest that it was their fault. And that's the end of the party, right? It's wholesale terrible. It's also terrible at a time when politics is very zero-sum.
Yeah.
When you won't increase taxation and then everyone thinks there's a fixed amount of money to be able to go around. Any cut that you make can be juxtaposed with any other spending you're doing, right? So we talk about Ukraine, which we would support the funding for, but it's unjustifiable when you're taking money away from the disabled. Loads of people go, you're taking money away from the disabled or the elderly or from the kids or from the military, and you're giving it to the migrants, right? You're spending on hotels. This zero-sum thinking is a consequence of only having a certain amount of money in the treasury and then cuts and increases going up and down in increasing amounts because of fiscal rules. It is a catastrophic failure in political communications that is fostering incredibly toxic dialogue as well. It's not just bad for Labour, it's bad for political discourse up and down the country.
Yeah.
People that are living with life-limiting conditions, that are scared and worried, fear that they're going to lose the lifelines that they rely on. It is despicable. In the run-up to this announcement, I had comments from people on my YouTube, on my other platforms, plenty of them. People that are worried, that are scared. My friend Graham, who runs Politics Social, had people saying that they had self-harmed as a consequence of the worry of this. There's also been reports of people that have taken their own lives. This is Jeremy Hunt style cruelty, unnecessary cruelty. As I said,
She changed the letter to an H. It should be a C. The US does really need stuff. Holy fuck, missus. Don't let me keep you. Like, I used to be able to stay up for like 2-3 days at a time, but that was many years ago now. I have to have at least some sleep within a 15-hour period, I think. Mostly, so between 15 and 18 hours, I have to have at least 3 or 4 hours. I don't need that much sleep, oddly enough. And I struggle to fall asleep anyway. Oddly enough, if I get completely blackout drunk, I pass out. But then again, liver failure might be a risk. Oh dear God. I've done that. I'm probably going to end up staying awake quite long during the actual count and stuff. So like Thursday the 7th into Friday the 8th of May. I will need to balance myself properly. I'll probably not stream on the Tuesday or Wednesday before, so that'll be the 5th and the 6th of May. You probably won't see me on those 2 days. You might see me the weekend before though. Ugh. Ugh. Nose misbehaving. It's the cold that gets to me. Whenever it's really quite cold or it's below a certain temperature, my nose keeps on running and I have to keep on blowing it and stuff. I have to be careful. I am at risk of getting nosebleeds. Not fun. So half the time when you see me vanishing, like quickly running away, it's either a nosebleed or something below the waist. I will see no further. I've always got colds. Plus I've got hay fever as well. I suffer from hay fever when the pollen count goes to medium or high. So watch this space during summer. You'll constantly see my eyes are red and watering. My nose will keep on sneezing and stuff like that. And my voice might change. So forewarned for all that nonsense happening in a couple of months.
At the beginning, if they're going to act like Tories, they're going to get the Tory treatment because they are willfully alienating their voter base. I encourage people to vote tactically to get out the...
Do not vote tactically. In certain constituencies, I can understand it. I get it. We don't need to vote tactically up here. Mostly. Don't get me wrong, it still happens. But with any luck during this election campaign, people will vote for the SNP for the constituencies. No, like the two main places that I'm connected to, the seat where I currently, well, I am in a seat. But the Holyrood constituency that I am in, it's on track to actually still stay SNP, even though it's been cut in half. And my hometown, the constituency I'm from, the MSP from that part of the world up there is the First Minister. So I think that's a safe SNP seat. Plus it's an SNP MP as well, Pete Wishart. At one point he had the lowest majority ever, a majority of 1. I shit you not. One time his majority was 1. I felt for Pete. I literally emailed him saying, you alright? That is one hell of a low majority. He knows who my mum is, by the way. I'm a stepdad, oddly enough. Are you blah 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 daughter? Yes, I am. I'm not in your constituency anymore. I'm down in Glasgow. Majority of 1, fucking hell. Yeah, yeah, it's getting more difficult for yous. That truly fucking sucks. Your voting system is dog shit in the first place. Even if you do have the right to vote, it's still crap. But with the active voter laws that they want to propose and shit, fucking hell. No Hispanics, no Browns, no foreign people. You're all bastards, you're not allowed to vote. Dog shit. Yeah. Yes. Correct. Reform can go and do one. Hopefully they will not get any constituencies. They might get a few. It says one of the polls said they might get 18. Hopefully most of them will just be lists. So that's regional list. There's 8 regions. Fuck it. No. Where is he? Where is he? Where are you? Where are you? I've lost him. Where is he? Ah, there we go. There it's there. Left Scotland.
It's 2016 and the Scottish Parliament elections are approaching. On the 5th of May, we'll be heading to the polling stations to elect our new government. The problem is that the system we use to do that isn't widely understood. So, here is my guide to how the Holyrood voting system actually works. The Scottish Parliament is called Holyrood. It was founded back in 1999 after the signing of the Scotland Act. The Parliament building is pretty awesome, and it was only 10 times over budget and 3 years late to build, but we got there. And since getting there, we've done some great stuff. Equal marriage, the smoking ban, and of course free prescriptions, eye care, dental treatment and education, despite Westminster not bothering to provide any of that to the rest of the UK. Go Scotland. But it's not only our policies that tend to be better than Westminster, our voting system is too. Westminster uses a system called first past the post, so in each constituency or area in the UK, we each get one vote. Those votes are counted up and whoever got the most votes wins. And that seems like a fair way to do it until you actually think about it more. Because it leads to situations where somebody can be elected despite only having 25% of support from the entire community. It's just that the other votes were split between other parties and were lower. Another way of looking at that is 75% of that area do not want that candidate to represent them. The Westminster system is completely undemocratic. The Conservative Party in power now, who have so far managed to rack up more debt than every Labour government in the history of the UK, have only got 36.7% of the vote in the UK, meaning that the majority of folk here do not want a Conservative government, but we're stuck with it because of the poor voting system at Westminster. I should add that in Scotland, the Conservatives only got 15% of the vote, making it even more undemocratic that they have any say here, but hey, we did vote to stay a part of the UK on account of those shared values or something. So to create a semi-proportional parliament, we use a system called the additional member system, or specifically a version of it called the D'Hondt method. Doesn't matter what it's called though, the point is that instead of getting one vote, we get two. A constituency vote and a regional vote. We have two votes instead of one, so that we can have a semi-proportional system that was built to encourage parties to better work together, rather than it becoming two parties constantly fighting back and forward like in Westminster. Here's how it works. The Scottish Parliament has 129 seats in it. In order for any party to have a majority, they need to command 65 of those seats. Out of the 129 seats, 73 of them are elected using your constituency vote. The constituency vote is for your local area, or constituency. So let's say we're in Glasgow South, because I am. You want to vote for me, a sensible choice, I should add. You use your constituency vote for that. In fact, a majority of you vote for me, which elects me as a member of the Scottish Parliament, or MSP, using the same system as Westminster, the first past the post system. Thank you. Now, as we discussed, the first past the post system is undemocratic. That's where your other vote comes in. The remaining 56 seats out of the 129 are elected through the regional list vote. Scotland is made up of 8 regions: Central Scotland, Glasgow, Highlands and Islands, Lothian, Mid-Scotland, Fife, North East Scotland, South Scotland and West Scotland, and each of those regions are made up of between 8 to 10 constituencies. The Glasgow region is made up of 9 constituencies, and I've just been elected in the Glasgow South constituency. I've also been elected in the rest of the constituencies in Glasgow, except for Rutherglen, because they're idiots. They've elected Mark. Mark. So now on to the regional vote. This time you aren't really choosing a candidate, you're choosing a party. So the list vote comes in. These are going to elect 7 additional members in this region, and here's how. Glasgow is made up of 9 constituencies. The Stephen Payton party got 8 of them. The Mark party got 1, because of Rutherglen. Why? Now what happens is each party's list vote is divided by the number.
I will show you something. So there we go. There's Glasgow South. This is Cathcart. Those two and part of this one have been joined together. So Glasgow South side. So that is, this entire one is now called Glasgow South, and it's bigger. It's made it the geographic. Geographic is being made a bigger constituency. It's still the same. It's basically the way they've chopped it up. Where am I? South, Glasgow Central. Right, this is my one here. This bit here, cut in half. That bit has been joined. Then that bit's been cut. So that's Glasgow, Kelvin and Maryhill. So these two have now been joined together. I'm here and I've been added on further to Easterhouse because they vote more Labour. I went and checked this. So my constituency's been completely changed. The vast majority of the population in this constituency are still here in the Springburn area because it is large and it's heavily populated. And they've added on, so they've taken off about 30,000. So that extra 30,000 is coming from Easterhouse now, who vote more Labour. The vast majority of the population are still here though, because we've got lots of flats, like blocks of flats and high rises here in Springburn. Some of them are over there, about a 10-minute walk from me. So that they've changed the demographic of the constituency. They've taken off the more richer part of the constituency, the one with the more disposable income. So Maryhill and Kelvin, which is basically Maryhill and Partick. And they've put Springburn with one of the other more deprived areas, which is Easterhouse. So did ours got changed as well. Ours got extended to the east, not quite to Easterhouse, but to parts of Denniston and Carntyne. So the area that I've been joined with for the Holyrood constituency is about 5 or 6 miles away from me. The one for the Westminster constituency is about 3-ish, 3.5 miles maybe. I have now been put in the same constituency as my sister for both Westminster and Holyrood. Make it blatant, why don't you, Boundary Commission? You're on the border of Gateshead. It depends. It's usually every decade, a bit like yours. But some of them have been changed literally within general elections for reasons best known to the Boundary Commission. They're inconsistent sometimes. Oh, okay, so it's just up the road from you. Cool.
Number of MSPs they've already elected through the constituency vote +1. I got 8 MSPs, so my share of the list vote is now divided by 9. Mark's party, because he got 1 MSP, is now divided by 2. Now we start assigning seats. The top of the list is currently the Labour Party, so they get the first list MSP. They now have 1 MSP, meaning that their list vote is now divided by 2, and the order of the list is readjusting. This puts the Conservatives on top, so they get the next seat, and they in turn are divided by 2, and the list is readjusted. This continues on and on, with the list being readjusted as each new MSP is elected until all 7 seats are filled. So as you can see, a party that's done really well in the constituency vote is much less likely to get a regional seat, so that Holyrood remains balanced. This happens in every region until the Stephen Payton party gains a majority. I become First Minister, unite the clans, end world hunger, and pass legislation making all UKIP voters have to wear a t-shirt with the words "I'm a dafty" written on them. Then again, we are polling at about 1 to 4% of the population of Scotland, so that would make a UKIP voter about as rare as a unicorn, but not nearly as cool. And that's how the additional member system works. But that's not where we end. You see, when the Scottish Parliament was founded back in 1999, it was decided that the additional member system could be used to create a parliament where no one party could wholly dominate the parliament, and would mean that the diverse voices from all of Scotland would be represented, something that the Westminster system doesn't allow. A few folk have raised that one of the main reasons would really be so that the Nationalist Party could never get a majority and bring about a referendum on Scottish independence, but that...
Ha! The system we got given was basically rigged to make sure the SNP never fucking... I don't care what anyone else fucking says. That was the design of it, to make sure the SNP didn't get a majority. Haha, we broke it. Get wrecked. Trying to force us to be like that. Yeah, you don't know how stubborn us Scots are, do you, sometimes? We prove you wrong sometimes. You have to remember that. You know.
Happened because the SNP became so popular that they basically broke the system put in place by gaining an outright majority back in 2011. And it seems that as 2016 approaches, they're about to break the system again, but in a different way. Back in 2011, the SNP managed to get a majority by getting MSPs elected in both the constituency vote and the regional vote. However, recent polling indicates that they may have become so popular that they might get a majority on the constituency seats alone. What this means for the list vote, however, is that the number of SNP MSPs elected in the list vote will drop drastically because they've done so well in the constituency vote. The average polling for January of this year when plugged into the Scotland Votes websites gives this result. Now this is where we are at before the campaigns of each party have even begun. What you can see is that with 45% of the regional vote, the SNP have only got 4 additional seats, while other parties with much less have gained more seats, such as the Conservatives getting 17% of the regional vote, resulting in 15 additional MSPs. If just 4% of those planning to vote SNP instead voted for the Greens on the regional vote, Labour and the Conservatives would actually lose seats to the Greens without the SNP losing a single seat. In fact, technically, if every single person planning to vote SNP on the regional list voted Green instead, the Greens would become the main opposition in Holyrood and the SNP would still be the majority party, with Nicola Sturgeon as our First Minister. That is how popular the SNP have become. Of course, that's never going to happen. However, it does raise a few questions. But look, in the end, I'm not going to tell you how to vote. That's up to you. If you want to see a Holyrood with an overwhelming majority of pro-left, pro-indie MSPs, then you could vote SNP and Green. If you want to see the maximum number of SNP MSPs, no matter who else gets in, then vote SNP. That's your decision. But I'd vote for policies, not parties. I'm not a fan of tactical voting, and that's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm only asking that you vote for whoever is talking about the kind of Scotland that you want to live in, and that you actually understand how our voting system works. That too. In the end, it's down to the parties out there to show you their vision of what Scotland can be, including the brand new A Better Britain Unionist Party, founded by a group of Better Together campaigners who want to stop all further devolution to Scotland, bring back the royal coat of arms on everything, ensure a Union Jack is flying from every government building, and who genuinely believe that one day they might actually have an MSP. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, share and subscribe. There will be more coming from Left Scotland as we approach the Holyrood elections, so keep an eye on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.
Ah! 2.5 hours. Let us check the news, shall we, to see if there's any sort of campaigning videos from the main leaders. That might be fun. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Huh. No. Huh. Huh. Oh, for fuck's sake. I really don't care about... Don't want to know about Trump. Fuck off. We have started campaigning here for Holyrood, you bastards. Anything? Oh, for fuck's sake, YouTube. I can't fucking find anything. That sucks. Oh! Thank you, Andy. Let's see if I can. Holyrood. Oops. Holyrood Campaign. See if that gives us anything. Oh God, they're all fucking long. Christ's sake. I will start off with my party, the one I am a member of.
Scotland's a hugely wealthy country. The top 2% have more wealth than the bottom 50%. So it's absolutely right that we make those who have the most pay their fair share. And we've got lots of ideas in our manifesto that will come out shortly to do just that and rebalance that wealth. Scotland's a hugely wealthy country. The top 2% have more wealth than the bottom.
So did I. There we go. The First Minister, everyone.
If we win big, if we persuade enough of our fellow citizens to put their faith in us, we can achieve a historic majority that will deliver so much more. Because an SNP majority does two things. It unlocks the potential for truly transformational change with independence. And it locks Nigel Farage out of any influence in Scotland's Parliament. That is the goal we are setting ourselves today, and that is the outcome I intend to deliver for the people of Scotland. If we win big, if we persuade enough of our fellow citizens to put their faith in us, we can achieve a historic majority that...
Thank you. Thank you, John. Oh! This might cover all of them. It's only 23 minutes long, then we'll read out.
Good evening from Holyrood. On tonight's Representing Border. Here we go. The parties are off the mark for the Scottish Parliament election campaign.
The real battle at this point is for second place between Reform UK and Scottish Labour.
To cut through the noise from the politicians, we have more measured analysis from...
My dude, the Labour are polling third, and it looks like the Greens might actually overtake them. Over 1 billion, my dear. Over 1 billion. It is. It's politer in certain regards. You don't want us to lose our rag. If we get angry, you usually notice it. Don't get me wrong, people. There will be people who'll be kind of preachy and stuff. Don't get me wrong. It is an election campaign after all. The minute the Scottish Green Manifesto gets released, don't worry, you'll last got our hands on it because party member. And I can get access to it through my member portal. And I'll read it out on stream once it's published. So it should be getting printed in the next couple of weeks, essentially. Or the next week, probably, come to think of it now.
One of the country's top pollsters. And we put the spotlight on one key issue for voters in the south of Scotland: housing. Parliament's out and the race for Holyrood is on. With exactly 6 weeks to go before the polls open.
Thank you, Davinia, my dear. Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Take your meds. Stay based. Free Palestine. And watch out for your last ranting. I don't know. I will indeed, my dear. Do not worry. Night night. Thank you for being here. Say good night to Davinia, everyone. They are awesome.
The main parties today launched their campaigns. For the last session's MSPs, the stakes couldn't be higher. Their passes for the building behind me are being deactivated, and they won't be allowed back in unless they're re-elected in May. Matty Sutton has this report from day one on the campaign trail.
The signs are there. Election season is upon us. Flying the flag for the SNP, leader John Swinney kicked off his campaign in Glasgow.
Vote SNP.
Oh, he was here. I didn't know he was here. Sorry, John.
Improve our NHS. Vote SNP for more help with the cost of living, and vote SNP for the fresh start of independence, because this election is Scotland's great opportunity. We are standing on the verge of a truly historic moment, but it will only happen if we work for it and if people vote for it.
But hoping to point voters in his direction instead, the leader of Scottish Labour made his pitch for the top job.
Change to fix the mess, get the basics right, and build a better future for Scotland. After 20 years of SNP government, Scotland needs change. In 42 days, you can vote for it. So,
Anas, you are a puppet and a total legit. You're not going to be First Minister, trust me on that. You're still polling third. It looks like that you might get knocked down to 11 MSPs. I will dance a jig if it's that low. If it goes any lower than that, holy fuck, I'll be grinning from ear to ear. He's one of my list MSPs, by the way. He doesn't have a constituency. His second in command does, Jackie Bailey.
if you want change and a new First Minister, then on May the 7th, vote Scottish Labour. Thank you.
We know that the Tories run towards battle, not...
Addressing his troops this afternoon, Russell Findlay set out his plan for persuading voters to get behind him.
The Scottish...
Polling 4th or 5th. It depends what poll you look at. Down to 8 MSPs. we don't get me wrong, there's Tory voters up here, but on the whole, we really don't vote for Tories up here. We haven't for a good few decades. I wonder what changed. I will not say her name. It is either her or she. Lest I see a spectre of her. So, on the whole, we really don't vote for the Tories. Parts of the North East, so Aberdeenshire, for reasons that you can guess, and the border ones. David Mundell, if you know who that is, his son is an MSP. He's this side, so he's down in the Dumfries area, down there.
Conservative Party are going to tackle head-on the cost of living crisis in Scotland. We're going to put forward a range of policies that will reduce people's income tax, that will reduce the benefits bill, which is completely out of control.
Reform held their first event a week ago. Since then, 4 of their candidates have quit.
Things happen with people. We cannot control events that happen. We have real hard-working people who will be standing for the Scottish Parliament elections. There will be 70...
What, you're standing in all the constituencies? You're going to lose your deposits, lads. This is Thomas Kerr. He is a councillor here in Glasgow for Shettleston. He was Labour, he started off in Labour, then he moved to the Tories, and now he's Reform. Make up your mind, Thomas. I don't know if he's going to be running for a constituency or still going to stick to being a councillor. We'll find out. So I'll be looking at the constituencies for the Glasgow area. Usually in the what is happening there? I think Super Hubby's awake. I'm getting notifications from Utilita. Oh, Andy, it's 5. It's 5 now. They really need to step up their due diligence, don't they? I've got my little minions. Sorry, I jest. Sorry, Jim. Sorry, Scribby. Look, and so that's John the Brazen, and obviously Scribby, and Jim Speak, looking at if there's any sort of reform edicts running for their during their council elections. See if anything happens down there that we can laugh at. Or be downright disgusted by some of the shit that these people say. So our council elections are next year, next May 2027. Your lads will be covering that one as well. So that's ranked choice essentially for Americans. So 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 blah. I have 1 Labour and 2 SNP for my ward area. Oh, 5 they've lost. Oh. That number is liable to go up. I'm keeping an eye on it, don't you worry.
3 candidates standing in every single corner of this country.
And although the Scottish Greens won't officially launch until next week, they marked the start of the campaign.
Our message to the voters of Scotland is that we know you're scunnered with politics at the moment, and we know you're looking for a bit of hope. We are going to offer that with policies like free childcare, expanding that free childcare, and free buses for everyone.
Change with fairness at its heart. Thanks, guys.
The Scottish Liberal Democrats floated their key messages at Newhaven Harbour in Edinburgh.
Well, the Scottish Liberal Democrats are back. We can win. Scotland's got so much going for it, but right now it doesn't feel like anything is working, and people are tired and frustrated. And we think Scotland deserves better than that, and Liberal Democrats are standing with a vision for change with fairness at its heart.
For the next 6 weeks, all the parties will be out hammering home their offerings, hoping that the tide of public opinion flows in their favour on the 7th of May.
Matty Sutton. And for more on how the campaign is likely to shape up, I spoke with one of Scotland's leading polling experts, Mark Diffley, founder and director of the Diffley Partnership. What is opinion polling telling us at the moment about the state of the parties going to this election campaign?
So we go into the campaign, the SNP are very clearly in front, polling at around 35% of the vote nationally. Important to say that's down significantly from 5 years ago, from 2021. So they've lost about 1 in 4 voters since then, but because of the fracturing of the vote on the non-SNP side, they remain well in front. The real battle at this point is for second place between Reform UK and Scottish Labour, who are both polling in the high teens. So depending on which poll you look at, somewhere between 17 and 20%. Some polls put Scottish Labour ahead, others put Reform UK ahead, but that looks at the moment at least where the real battle is.
That's changed now. Some of the polls have got Labour down to about between 11 and 13%, 11 and 14. The Reform are still on roughly 20, so polling between 18 and 20%. The Scottish Greens are on 18 or 19%. The Lib Dems are on between 7 and 10. Alba aren't running, your party aren't running. There'll be other ones as well. Other independent people wanting to get voted in. But the polls have changed, shifted a bit. They've got worse for like the main unionist parties, so Labour, Lib Dem and the Tories. But Reform are polling on 20. I think they've hoovered up quite a lot of the Tory vote up here. We will find out, don't worry. I'll be reporting on this and stuff, talking about it on the stream.
And then the other 3 parties sit underneath. So the Tories at about 12%, which again they've lost about half their voters from 2021, where they polled at 24, 25%. The Lib Dems on about 8 or 9%, so slightly ticked up actually from 5 years ago. And the Greens, who will predominantly be contesting the regional list element, are actually doing quite well on that. So they're at sort of on average about 10 or 11%. So again, up a bit from 2021, and they'll be hopeful of turning that into a couple more seats here at Holyrood on May the 8th.
So does this make the election almost a kind of foregone conclusion in terms of who's winning, or, you know, you've covered a lot of elections, studied them, how much chances are of polls shifting?
So obviously we've got the campaign to go. It kicks off today, so things can change, and you know there may be some change at the margins. Whether that is enough to affect the overall result in terms of who's first, clearly, then I would be relatively sceptical. We're going to need something really quite significant to happen during the campaign for that to happen. Previous elections, 2011, for those viewers who can remember that far back, I can, unfortunately. The campaign did change quite a lot. We went into the campaign with, Labour and the SNP pretty locked together, and actually the SNP won the one and only overall majority actually at Holyrood at that election. So some campaign.
We polled 45% during 2011 and 2016. They were meant to be every 4 years, by the way, so there should have been like Westminster and the Holyrood in 2015, but they changed it. They said, no, you have to forced us forward a year. So it's been 5 years since, so 2011, 2016, 2021, 2026. So it's been 5 years since 2011, but before that it was every 4 years. Thanks, coalition government, you bunch of bastards.
Do change things, but we're going to need to see something quite extraordinary. I mean, polling is always a measure of opinion at a point in time rather than a prediction of the future. So I'm obviously loath to say what will actually happen for obvious reasons, but I do think we would need to see something extraordinary to see the to see the SNP not come first. I do think, though, however, that
some polls have got us on 38%. Oh, they take the polls with a pinch of salt, by the way, and make sure they're part of the British Polling Council as well. Like that Lord Ashcroft one I showed the other stream. That Lord Ashcroft poll isn't part of the British Polling Council. Survation, Opinium, YouGov. I can't remember, there's a couple of other ones that I've forgotten about, I think. They're all part of the British Polling Council, so they all just got there's different methods that the pollsters use. The gold standard one is YouGov. So if you see YouGov that have done the poll, you can believe that one. They've got them on between like 33 and 35%. Some of the other ones which aren't part of the British Polling Council have them on between 38 and 40%. So they've lost between either between 6 and 10 points from 2021 and 2016. So the one that I would direct people to is the YouGov poll, or the poll of polls as well. That's part of the British Polling Council as well. So that's just. I'm not that good with statistics. I do apologise. So the poll of polls is an aggregate one using all the polls available, whether part of the British Polling Council or not. So that gives you. That gives you an overall view, essentially, and the methods they use. Just don't ask me about statistics.
What's really up for grabs here is whether the SNP might win an overall majority.
Is that seriously in play? Because John Swain's talked a lot about it, but on 35% of the vote, people are a bit sceptical.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult. It's difficult to any election. It's only been done once in 2011, as I mentioned earlier. But I think it is possible. There is a path to it, although at 35%, it's really difficult to do. But at the moment, they look like they will get somewhere between 60 and 62, 63 seats, something like that. It is really difficult, and the electoral system as well kicks in to make it very hard for that to happen. It is possible. I think it's unlikely.
I suppose the question you talked about the other parties that are fighting.
It is more likely than you think. It's not unlikely, it is possible. So I'm trying not to use unlikely because I've obviously SNP and I'm a member of the Scottish Greens, so the polls are just shifting. Don't worry, your lass will be checking the polls. Maybe not every day, but at least 2 or 3 times a week.
In there, the Scottish Conservatives traditionally very strong in the south of Scotland, but they've lost a lot of their vote. Scottish Labour tumbling votes away from them since the general election victory. What's happened to these parties? Is it the rise of reform, and are we seeing them kind of retreat into almost regional strongholds to try and cling on to something here?
So the rise of Reform UK, which as I referenced earlier, have a chance of actually coming from not having even stood or existed 5 years ago when we last voted here to second place is, quite extraordinary actually, and that's one of the stories. I mean, that's one of the kind of key stories in my world, in the polling world, over the last 18 months to 2 years. Now that has an impact both for them, because there are likely to be sort of 15 or 20 Reform UK MSPs elected to this place in 6 weeks' time, but it's shaken up the political world in Scotland, as it has in other places in the UK, significantly as well. And what it means is, because they're taking votes almost exclusively from disgruntled Labour and Conservative voters, it makes the SNP's task much easier. So it means that you can lose 25% of your voters, as the SNP has done since 2021, but actually probably come out on 35% of the vote with about the same number of seats in Parliament as they got 5 years ago. And that is entirely down to the fact that Reform UK has basically split the non-SNP side of the electorate.
And so
it's made their job easier.
And so does that mean that parties are just having to focus on areas where they might just be able to squeak over the line? Central Belt for Labour, South Scotland for the Conservatives, North for the Lib Dems, that kind of thing?
So, I think there are kind of two answers here. I mean, all parties have restrictions on their financial resources, so you have to really kind of manage the money, and you have to manage your resources really carefully. So and all parties have that. I think for the Tories, they are still actually quite competitive down in the south of Scotland, in places like Ayr, in places like Dumfries and Galloway and so on, and in a couple of seats actually up in the northeast as well, in Aberdeenshire and so on. So if they're smart, what they'll do is actually concentrate their resources accordingly. Not exclusively, but actually pile in on those areas where they remain competitive. So for them, absolutely. For the Lib Dems, it's more up in the Highlands and Islands. That's where they will be. Concentrating their resources. I think it's slightly different for Labour. Labour is still a bit more competitive in different parts of the country and around the Central Belt as well, which, while geographically is kind of quite a small area, it's where sort of 70% of the population lives. So I think Labour.
The vast majority of Scotland's population are in the Central Belt between Glasgow and Edinburgh. So I'm on the west, here in Glasgow, Edinburgh to the east, over there. So the main concentration is the Central Belt. So it goes up, it's about a band of like 40 miles essentially. Like 20 or 30 miles north of Glasgow and 20 or 30 miles south of Glasgow. And the same on the other end as well, so it's like it's a band that goes across the Central Belt and stuff. So that the vast majority of the population will live here. This is the largest city in Scotland. Over 600,000 people live in the Greater Glasgow area. So a lot of the voting here will mostly be SNP or Labour, with some outliers maybe voting for Reform. But I think Reform will be concentrating on the north east, so the Aberdeenshire area, and the south. They're down in the border regions essentially. Don't worry, I'll be keeping an eye.
Is a bit more nationally focused, but I think the other two parties, certainly the Lib Dems and the Tories, they really will be concentrating on specific areas where they think they've got a chance of remaining.
Nerd. You came in a bit late, Morton. We're watching this ITV news. Then I'll be reading out. I do apologise. I'll be back later on tonight, don't worry. 11ish to 11 p.m. Alright, cool.
Competitive.
Well, we'll see how they all get on over the next few weeks. Sure, we'll talk about it a lot over that
I'm
period.
sure, yeah.
But for now, Mark Diffley, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, more people will be pushed into ill health, fuel poverty and homelessness without a sharp increase in the amount of affordable housing in Scotland. And the problem is particularly acute in rural areas. That was a stark warning today from the Royal Society of Edinburgh. Our local councils and the Scottish Government have all declared housing emergencies, but critics...
Well done, Morton. That's quite good. The best thing that happened to me to make me lose weight, gallbladder removed, lost 3 or 4 what did I say later on? Was it 4 stone? So when I got my gallbladder removed, I lost 4 stone in the space of a year. Quite a lot. My weight still kind of fluctuates and stuff, but I've mostly stayed the same, roughly. It's not that the role of the gallbladder is to actually process, break down and digest fat, lipids. So any of the fats that you eat, your gallbladder deals with it. Or it secretes bile, which goes into the liver, and that deals with like the destruction of fat molecules and stuff. Certain parts of the fat molecule get used in the body as fuel or padding, if you wish. Like across the middle and things like that, or the back side, or the thighs, or the arms. Anyway.
Say action is not matching rhetoric. The RSC wants politicians to prioritise this during the election. I caught up with its housing spokesperson, Douglas Morrison. Why do rural areas, particularly those like the south of Scotland, need prioritised for housing investment?
Well, we've seen for many years that rural communities have struggled to attract home builders into their regions, and that has placed inordinate pressure on citizens, both in terms of house prices but also the availability of affordable housing. And I think if we're serious about supporting communities to grow and thrive, we need to unlock the housing problem and ensure that there's a steady, affordable supply of housing for citizens to move into.
The RSC report that you're part of says there needs to be a tailored approach. How would that work?
Absolutely. I mean, we view housing rightly as a national emergency, certainly for the last 2 years, but there is no one size fits all. And in a rural context, we want to ensure that small house builders and small and micro businesses can move into this space and deliver housing in an affordable way using modern methods of construction that ultimately delivers better, faster, more affordable housing for citizens within those regions.
So is that listening to local businesses, local communities more? And I suppose the follow-on for that is, has housing policy been a bit too centralised?
Yeah, absolutely. When we look at rural areas, we do need to listen to local communities. I think there's huge opportunities with regional economic partnerships. And of course, the local authorities, registered social landlords and community housing associations are better placed than anyone to determine the needs of those local communities as they pertain to housing.
As part of this, the Royal Society undertook a series of visits. How did responses vary across the country, and were you surprised by what you heard, particularly, of course, in Dumfries and Galashiels?
Well, I think what was more evident than anything in our engagement with citizens and a wide range of industry stakeholders and business owners in Dumfries and Galashiels was that they recognise housing both as a community need but also as a key enabler of their own growth plans. So there was very much a common view that housing was critical, both in terms of the volume of housing available, but also the quality of housing and the impact that can have on health and well-being outcomes in those communities.
Yeah, on exactly that point actually, the report's quite stark. It says that it warns that people will not only suffer poor living conditions, but also that economic growth will be harmed without more affordable housing. It calls for housing to be part of Scotland's core national infrastructure. Has housing essentially been the poor relation of public policy when it's come to Holyrood?
I think it has been. I mean, I think
I want more council or social rent built. Council houses. No. Build more council houses. Plenty of brownfield here in Glasgow. Trust me on that one. So building more council or social rents. Please. Thank you. My housing association is a charity. And didn't used to be. Used to be owned by a private equity firm. Still had low rents and stuff. Don't get me wrong. By the way, council tenant, I still pay what would have been under Glasgow City Council. Me and Super Hubby, we weren't married at this point, by the way. We've lived here for 24 years now, nearly. We were one of the last few council tenants before the stock transfer over to Glasgow Housing Association. So I am literally paying one of the cheapest rents here in Glasgow. I am under, I will not say how much exactly, but I am under £200 a month for my rent. It makes my niblet cry when I tell them that. Sorry, darling. They're paying nearly £400 for a bedsit, essentially. I have never been in their flat.
It's fair to say that there has been an under-delivery against the policy objectives, and there are clear gap between policy commitments and both the number and quality of homes available to the citizens of Scotland. It's time we get that right. It's time we move beyond rhetoric and really start delivering more homes, better quality homes, improve our existing stock, and ultimately get the industry building again.
And with that in mind, we've obviously got the Holyrood election coming up. It's a big part of why this report's coming out now. Are the parties engaged enough, do you think, in finding solutions for this?
In the lead up to the upcoming election, I do view this as a generational opportunity for us to be bold, to reprioritise housing as a national priority, and really get this right.
Well, we'll see if the politicians take that opportunity, but for now, Douglas Morrison, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I think that's all I can cook. Oh, fucking hell, 3 hours and 12 minutes. Let's go and say hi to Shanna and Cappy, shall we? Hopefully they're still going. They are indeed. Capricorn! Is that red? There's 11 minutes, yeah. Same length of time as me, essentially. Oh, thank you, Andy. Everyone's gallbladder is basically the same size, Morton, roughly. Give or take a few grams.
stellt sehr viel Ängste und Realitäten dar, die in der Menschheit existieren.
The main problem with the gallbladder is that it creates gallstones. Ouch. It hurts. Trust me on that one. That was one of the most painful experiences I ever had, and they had to take it out of me. I was literally, the tears streaming down my face. My mum came and rescued me. So after the actual surgery, I got driven back up to Perth and I stayed there for like 4 or 5 days. 5 days? I can't remember, it was a while ago. I got my gallbladder removed. But she came and rescued me. I lay in the back seat, crying. My stomach was a mess. And I used the wound dressing that I got given is called Tegaderm. I'll post it in. What's it called? Tegaderm. There we go. Tegaderm. Oh! I'm there. I'm there.
Did Gnome? Oh, Gnome rated. Okay. Gnome rated Dargesh. Okay. Gnome rated into Dargesh. All my tabs keep... Welcome in, Mad Cat. Mad Cat did not fall asleep in stream. Good.